Welcome to Morgantown. I'm Beth Bowens, and tonight, number 20, West Virginia meets Kansas. And as the Mountaineers get ready to go, one of their all-time greats, Anthony Becht, is with them.
21 years ago, I entered West Virginia. The atmosphere, the electricity today, as this team gets ready to walk out onto this field. All the gold and the blue fans cheering you on. I can feel the goosebumps now. I can feel how it feels to enter the field. The energy, everything about it I can remember as a former player, and now envision it, enjoy it, and take it all in as these Mountaineers enter the field. What an electric atmosphere. Coming out of that tunnel, Rocky, I was fired up. But I'll tell you what, everybody was talking about this explosive WVU offense, but I really want to watch this 3-3-5 defense that Tony Gibson's got going for this Mountaineers.
Well, you're right. I mean, look, the Mountaineers looking to bounce back from last week. I don't think energy is going to be a problem in this place, but you mentioned the defense, Anthony. The most unique defensive scheme I have personally ever seen. They got guys coming, flying around from everywhere. It's going to be fun to watch tonight.
And an opportunity as well for the Kansas Jayhawks to try and pick up an elusive road win. Kickoff coming up next from Morgantown.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Polaris, the world leader in off-road. Visit Polaris.com. Dr. Pepper, it's a college football tradition. And Chick-fil-A, we didn't invent the chicken, just the chicken sandwich.
Back here at Mountaineer Field, West Virginia coming in at 6-1, 3-1 in the Big 12. That puts them a game out of first place as we head into the month of November. Oklahoma still in first place. Oklahoma State, a big comeback win to knock off K-State. It looks like Baylor is in big trouble. Oklahoma has a date here with West Virginia in just a couple of weeks' time. And Rocky, the race is going to be great here in the final weeks of the regular season.
Well, sure is, Beth. You mentioned the Oklahoma game in a couple of weeks, but look, none of that matters. They got to get back to their winning ways here tonight, but certainly they are very much in the mix for this Big 12 race here this year.
Dana Holgerson on that West Virginia sideline. David Beatty across the way in his second season with Kansas. Matthew Wyman, the senior from Michigan, will kick it off. Shelton Gibson and Gary Jennings, the deep men. Kansas won the toss and they deferred to the second half. Jayhawks have not picked up a road win since 2009. 39 consecutive road trips, and they'd love to take one home with them to Lawrence tonight. And Gibson will let this one fall behind him. West Virginia will bring it out with Skyler Howard set to make his 23rd career start tonight. He's top 5 all-time in passing yards and touchdowns, Rocky.
The key for Skyler Howard, Beth, is accuracy. When he is accurate, this team wins. When he's not, they seem to struggle a little bit. He's been up and down with that during the course of this year. Also, the thing to watch with him is how efficient is he with that run-pass read. He's got to be really good at when to hand that ball, when to keep it, or when to throw it to the corner with the RPO.
There was a flag on the kickoff.
Taunting, number 15 of the kicking team. 15-yard penalty, first down.
So a penalty against the Jayhawks, and showing that 4.4 speed that made him all Big East Conference 2 times. Anthony Becht has made his way back up here to the booth from the pregame down on the field. So the penalty here against Kansas, West Virginia, terrific start out at their own 40-yard line with Howard. They will not have Russell Shell tonight. Their leading rusher is out with an ankle injury, so they will rely on Justin Crawford, Kennedy McCoy, and Elijah Wellman a lot in the backfield tonight. And this is Crawford. The good news is, Anthony, they will still be running behind Tyler Orlowski, one of the top centers in the country, as we check out our Chick-fil-A impact players.
You're right. Keep an eye on Justin Crawford. He's the running back today. They'll start quick. Shorts is the main target as a wide receiver for Kansas. Armstrong leads the Big 12 in sacks. He's going to be putting the pressure on for this Kansas team.
Looking to take a shot deep. And are they going to say Gibson was inbounds? Yes, he was. They go deep to Shelton Gibson.
Well, perfectly thrown ball here. Gibson trying to bring it down. His left foot looks like it sneaks inside the line. Watch how he tracks the ball into his hands, pulls it in. Is in control with his hands, gets his foot down. 40-yard gain. Again, Beth, it's going to come down to that left foot. It's a tight drop right there when he lands it in between the line and the field. But that's great concentration, number one, awareness. Now right there, it looks like it's in.
Yep.
You can't tell if the toe's hitting the white or not. How about the concentration there to drop that down? And so many receivers lack the awareness when they're on the sidelines. And Gibson, the redshirt junior, one of the best receivers on this football team, able to haul one in. A big play that really energizes and gives juice to this offense, Beth.
Howard is one of the more accurate passers in the country at 65% completion rate. And even with that, Dana Holgorsen says, you know what, we think he can be even more consistent. And they're trying to find a guy, perhaps it will be Gibson, who can become that game changer at wide receiver this year. And it looks like the catch is going to stand. Look at the numbers for Shelton Gibson over the last 2 seasons. He is their big play threat. In fact, he's got the best yards per catch in school history at over 20 per reception. And that ruling will stand.
Well, gets his West Virginia team in the red zone, Beth. Now they got to punch it in. There's been an issue getting scores. Dana Holgorsen kept saying this offense has to get in the end zone. Too many field goals early on. And this is where Skylar Howard has to step up with his accuracy when they pass.
Just 54% of the time, in fact, do they get into the end zone for a touchdown from the red zone. They'll run it with Crawford, the junior from Columbus, Georgia, who will get the start today. There are the chances, 35 of them, but only 19 times have they got it into the end zone for 6.
And that's the inconsistency at the quarterback position, where his accuracy, even though it's come up, he's got to find those tight windows. He gets a little pressure sometimes. He doesn't get his feet set, Beth. That's where that off throw comes. But right now, early throw down the field, showing that he could be on target.
4 receivers as they break the huddle. More on that coming this evening. Howard will keep it and run with it. Hurdles over a defender and gets to the sideline. And a pickup of just a yard. It's 3rd down coming up. Tevin Shaw was the guy that ran him out. And it looks like there is an injured player for Kansas, Marquise Roberts.
And they're checking out that shoulder area. It's a nice block by the West Virginia player on him and kind of caught him.
Watch as he gets cracked back by number 5, Durant, the wide receiver. It's pretty good athleticism by Howard, jumping over the DB.
Marquise is the senior out of Marietta, Georgia, the 2-year starter who transferred from South Carolina. Keith Loneker will replace Roberts now at one of the linebacker spots.
Guys, the defensive end, the defensive player, West Virginia has to know where he is. Number 2, the end, Dorrance Armstrong, very disruptive, leading the Big 12 in sacks.
Jayhawks show pressure up the middle, and they will bring it up the middle. Quick on the release from Howard, incomplete. And that was Loneker, the guy who just checked into the game, that got right in on Skylar Howard. Brandon Stewart with the breakup, and it's 4th down.
That's a nice job. You know, Kansas not known for their pressure, Beth. Early on, they have a backup linebacker that has to step in. He's ready to go, and they're dialing it up. Just exactly what they needed to prevent a big opportunity for West Virginia in the red zone.
35-yard attempt for Mike Molina. His long this season is 38. Molina's kick is good. West Virginia gets into the red zone, but they have to settle for 3 in the early lead. Night here in Morgantown for our Anthony Beck on camera, down on the field pregame, and then hopped into the cart with our buddy Bryce there to bring you up to the press box. And a thumbs up as Anthony Beck returns to his old stomping grounds here in Motown. You obviously were an offensive stud during your playing days here, but a lot of the chatter right now is about this West Virginia defense. How do you have a top 25 these days in the Big 12?
Well, you know, Tony Gibson's got him humming, the defensive coordinator. 3-3-5. They put a lot of stress up front with their 3 defensive linemen, how they work the line. Then they get the linebackers in space where they're trying to hit the gaps and hit the holes, and they put coverage responsibilities on their corners. If you can't cover man-to-man, Beth, you can't play in this defense.
Gonzalez with the return out to the 25, and a look at Montel Cozart, the junior from Kansas City. Started the first 4 games, was replaced for a couple, and returning now for the last 3 starts.
Well, you know, he's hitting accurate short passes. So they're going to throw a lot of 5 and under passes today. They want him to run the ball more. He's a tremendous athlete. He's got to raise the running frequency every time he touches the ball. I think if the 1 to 2's not there, Beth, take off. They're a little worried about his protection, and the run blocking has not been great. Their offensive line has to come off and set the tempo because this West Virginia defense will be aggressive early.
And he will not have his usual starting center, Joe Gibson. He is out. Mesa Riberty will step over from guard to center tonight. And a throw on 1st down. Plenty of room out in the flat for Steven Sims out across the 40 and a 1st down, Rocky.
The thing about this defense, guys, is, again, I've never seen anything so unique in how they do it. A 3-3 stack. They 2-gap their defensive line, allow them to hold up the offensive line, and allow those speedy linebackers to just come downhill, blitzing gaps, blitzing from the outside. It's really fun to watch down here.
19-yard pickup on 1st down. Another throw, and the catch is made by Shaquem Barbell. When we talked to Tony Gibson yesterday, the DC said, we're not interested in confusing the offensive coordinator. We want to confuse the young quarterback tonight. So we're going to see a ton of movement. Once that ball is snapped.
And he's going to have to make some quick decisions tonight with this tight coverage.
Keon Kinner is the offset back on 2nd and 7. They'll throw the receiver screen to Barbell. He may have more touches tonight. They are without one of their usual starters, Bobby Hartzog.
Now, normally on 3rd down, West Virginia will bring 5-6 in the box. They'll try to mix it up. Here in 3rd and short, they're going to have some guys close to the line of scrimmage, but they're not going to bring as much pressure on these short downs. Look for them to read, react with the defensive linemen, the 3 guys up front, and those linebackers stacked behind.
Pressure coming, 6 guys. Cozart gets it out quickly to Barbell, and another 1st down.
And you can already see early on Kansas's approach here with how to counteract this defense, getting the ball out quick. Oklahoma State did the same thing last week. So you're seeing tempo and getting the ball out of Kozar's hands fast. That's how you stop and slow down an attacking defense.
And that, of course, was a win for Oklahoma State over West Virginia, with Tony Gibson looking on from the sideline, and Kozar fumbled the snap and then chucked it out of bounds. 2nd and 10.
Yeah, Tony Gibson's done a nice job with these guys. You know, he lost so many starters, Beth. 4 guys got drafted in the NFL, and he's still able to provide the defensive leadership he needs. It really does start up front. Number 97, Noble Lachuco. These guys set the tone for these linebackers stacked behind to make plays in those gaps.
Three-down lineman this time for West Virginia, and the give is to Kinner, gets the edge. Down inside the 40 and a flag back at midfield. Kinner, the senior out of Little Elm, Texas, a 6-yard gain.
And when it comes from behind, it could be a holding.
Offense, number 78, 10-yard penalty.
Left tackle, Adeniji, excuse me. He's the true freshman, came on campus. It's number 78 here on the left-hand side. He's a true freshman. Gets that left arm locked and pulls down on that shoulder pad. And of course, the defensive end does a nice job, Brown, of ripping his arms up, showing the hold. He's the most athletic lineman for Kansas's team. Coach Beatty saying they love him. As soon as he entered campus, he was labeled as the #1 guy.
Jayhawks will go 5 wide on 2nd and 20, back in their own territory. And with 6 Mountaineers creeping up to the line of scrimmage, some movement on the right side.
False start. 73 of the offense. 5-yard penalty. Remain 2nd down.
And you already see the hecticness that this can play on this offensive line. You never know where the guys are going to come, where the linebackers are going to blitz. So these linemen are out there thinking and on their heels a lot, trying to figure out where this scheme is going to come from.
It's already 3 penalties for 30 yards tonight against Kansas. Ben Johnson is the motion man. Just a 3-man rush there, and it's Steven Sims, sophomore out of Houston, who's got a couple 100-yard receiving games on the season.
Beth, 3rd and 23 for a quarterback that cannot or has not had success down the field. Expects West Virginia to heat it up, and if he gets that pressure in his face, he's going to have to release the ball quickly. Not a lot of plays you can call on 3rd and 23 for this offense.
6 DBs for West Virginia on 3rd and long. Trying to get after Kozart, and it is intercepted at the West Virginia 48-yard line by Rasul Douglas, his 4th of the season.
Rasul Douglas is probably their most active, best corner on the field today. He's in tight coverage on the outside. Again, they get pressure in his face. He's able to get his head around. Miscommunication on the outside between quarterback, wide receiver, and that's what happens when the pressure comes in the quarterback's face. You make unorthodox decisions, and right there, that's where Kozart goes to unforced error.
That is the 28th turnover, the 17th interception for Kansas. Obviously, that has been an issue all year long.
We want to check and see if Douglas was able to catch this ball.
They'll take a peek, and we'll be back in a moment.
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Nissan, premier partner of the Heisman Trophy, and Firestone Complete Auto Care, keeping cars running newer, longer since 1926.
A Chamber of Commerce day here in Morgantown, West Virginia. Absolutely spectacular afternoon and now into the evening. for the Mountaineers and the Jayhawks. A 3-0 lead for West Virginia, and now trying to create something off of the interception. As Skylar Howard will take the snap from Tyler Orlowski, the fifth-year senior center out of Cleveland, Ohio, who's one of the best in the country. And he's out there directing traffic. Howard trying to take a deep shot again into double coverage, incomplete, and a penalty flag. They were looking for Karan White.
Yeah, the ball was slightly underthrown. Karan White, the brother Kevin White, former West Virginia wide receiver, now with the Chicago Bears. He goes up, but he has to actually slow down, Beth.
Pass interference. Defense, number 8. 15-yard penalty. Automatic first down.
And number 8, Brandon Stewart. Watch how he starts to slow down. Stewart's kind of getting on his body there. His right arm wrapped around his waist. Again, right here. Stewart's going up to see the ball, gets his arm around the waist area. That's kind of tough, though. I mean, I don't see any jersey being grabbed. I do see the arm wrapping around, and again, referee seeing that. He can't tell if there's a lot of force with that pull, but West Virginia comes out of this with the flag.
Look at that bunched formation. 4 guys in a diamond to the right. And Howard will run with it to the left, and he's going to lose yardage. As Ogletree got it.
That's a nice job, and he gets around the block, and that's really an empty set for them. Another change up in their sets, Beth, where they try to get everybody spread out, think they're going to throw it to the outside, and then Howard goes and runs a quarterback-designed run.
Justin Crawford, the offset back. That's Dana Holgerson, who's got that chemistry set with him while he's drawing up plays late at night, right, Anthony? Trying to cook up different looks. There's such familiarity when you're playing the same teams. You're playing everybody in the league year in and year out. Tevin Shaw with another play for negative yardage.
Yeah, the miscommunication right here. Howard's trying to flip the ball. Running back's not in the right position. Not a real good start to this series right now with 3rd and long behind the sticks at
3rd and 15. Crawford is with Howard in the backfield. Rush for Kansas. Howard in trouble. Lassoed, and down he goes. Good pressure that time from Kansas. For Isaiah Bean. And a loss of 8.
True freshman, number 19, going to work here. And Howard has a little time. It gets pulled down. Nice play on the outside on the edge by this true freshman.
One thing about the tackle, Anthony, Colton McKivitz, 53 there, he got beat for that sack. He plays really, really high. I mean, he's 6'7" already, but I don't see a lot of knee bend there, and I wonder if that hurts the amount of leverage he can get out there when he blocks.
Well, plus he doesn't have the experience, Rocky, and you can combine both of those things. It could make it for a tough night going against him and Armstrong, number 2, are very good rushing defensive ends.
35 yards on the punt. The Jayhawks will have it when we come back. Taco Bell is a proud partner of the College Football Playoff. Be on the lookout for Taco Bell student sections and passionate fans like these at games all season long. Well, they're already calling for Bama here at West Virginia.
One game at a time, Beth. One game at a time.
Crimson Tide are down in Death Valley tonight to take on LSU. Baylor did lose, by the way, today, so if West Virginia does win, they would still have 1 loss along with Oklahoma State. Behind Oklahoma by a game in the Big 12. Here's the problem right now for Kansas. Their yardage due to their penalties is in the negative. Just 36 yards of offense, they've got more penalty yards.
And being behind the chains like the last series, Beth, doesn't put this offense in operable position to be successful against this 3-3-5 with Tony Gibson in West Virginia.
They've also turned it over once. 2nd and 6, Cozart off the fake and incomplete. Looking for Gonzalez. He's been their playmaker, the transfer from Texas A&M.
And he's got to catch that ball, Beth, right in his hands. A nice throw by Cozart. He gets separation. He's like a track star. Him and number 11 are going to be the used weapons at the receiver position. When you get your chances against this defense, you've got to make the play.
They are throwing it early here, Anthony. 9 plays, 8 of them passes thus far. 4 wide tonight again. Gonzalez was trying to get himself free underneath, makes the catch, makes a man miss, diving out to the 23-yard line. And that will still be short. Wachuku got him.
I'll tell you, Wachuku is a hustler. 6'2", 275 pounds. He's that impact player on this defense. He works the line of scrimmage, flushes the quarterback out, and then once he dumps it down, the linebacker comes up. He chases the receiver down and makes a tackle. That's a heck of an effort.
Gary Jennings wrapped up back inside his own 25-yard line, so that West Virginia offense will return under the direction of Dana Holgorsen.
Well, I'll tell you, Coach Holgorsen, I'm calling him the mad scientist. Now, he might not like this pick, but look at these formations. Double stack, 4 receivers on the outside to counter against man-to-man coverage. Then they'll jump into an I formation. When's the last time you saw Dana Holgorsen's offense get into that? Then go empty. We've seen empty a couple times with the quarterback running it up the middle in the designed run. And when you're ahead in the game, how about a little reverse wishbone to seal the deal on a 4-minute offense? He's been creative, and he's shown a lot of different looks and trying to keep all these Big 12 defenses on their heels.
We've already seen a diamond with 4 receivers tonight. That was Kennedy McCoy, the true freshman, on the carry. They're running different tempos. They've even huddled up. They're running more than they usually do under Dana. A lot of the spread teams we see around the country are starting to do that a little bit more. We're going to take another deep shot. Incomplete. They were looking for Karan White. It was Stewart again on the coverage, and it looked like he had a handful of jersey on his back. No flag. Rocky.
Beth, you mentioned the different aspects of this offense. It's not just the formations, but it's also their tempo, and also the fact that you'll see them huddle sometimes like they are right now, but previous to this, they run to the line of scrimmage and they don't huddle. That's really tough on a defense, how they vary the tempo. It's like a pitcher throwing, instead of just a fastball, throw a curveball at you.
On 3rd and 9, Howard takes a hit. Pass is incomplete across the middle, intended for Durant.
And I'll tell you, they're getting pressure right now on Skylar Howard. They're running some line stunts on the inside here. Watch the inside. Defensive lineman just wrap around the inside and take a shot right underneath on the chest. Again, number 2 Armstrong's got to be someone they account for. The defensive end when he comes inside. Even though that was a subtle shot, those things will wear on a quarterback.
Billy Kinney is back on, the sophomore from right here in Morgantown, with Gonzalez and a fair catch for him at his own 31-yard line, a 46-yard boot. Number 20, West Virginia, the early field goal. That's the difference right now against KU.
To see over on ESPN.
Hot start for USC. Trojans trying to catch up with Colorado in the Pac-12 South. How about the job that the Buffs have been doing out there? That Apple Cup, by the way, and the Pac-12 North starting to shape up as a doozy as well. Washington on the road against Cal coming up later tonight over on ESPN. And 1st and 10, Cozart will give to Taylor Martin. He's the sophomore out of Fort Worth, Texas. We see a lot of guys from Texas playing for David Beatty, the former high school coach in the state of Texas, as well as a wide receiver coach at A&M.
And that's a nice job by this offense, starting off with those 2 runs, creating some holes up front. The biggest thing Coach Beatty was saying about this offensive line, they'll get into the guys, but they can't get to the next level to block these linebackers. If they want success, like they're having a little bit here on these last couple of plays, they got to get up top to the 2nd level.
You know, the results aren't showing just yet in terms of their record as Cozart throws it deep. But Beatty and his staff, they like some of the guys they got here. They think they are starting to build something. Of course, it's going to be tough to do in a pass-happy, score-happy Big 12.
And that's a perfect example right there. You know, over 10 yards throwing. I did a little self-scout, taking some notes the last 2 games. Cozart is 2 for 26 with 4 interceptions and just 1 touchdown. He's just not connecting over 10 yards right there. They got to find ways to make 1 or 2 of those plays to shake up this West Virginia defense.
He's got a 1st down and a pick on 3rd down tonight. And movement again from the Kansas O-line with some jitterbugging going on from the...
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Remains third down.
West Virginia defense.
And, you know, Banks has got to hold his water there on the outside. I think he had his eyes into the ball, and the inside linebacker, when he rushed, kind of got him off stride a little bit. That was Benton, number 3, shaking around. Got him to shake. Beth, we talked about penalties right now. It's costing them 5 of them for this offense. Now the defensive line and linebackers can get up to this line here and bring some pressure.
3rd and 11, 4 men coming. They almost get to Cozart. The scramble by Montel, diving towards the line to gain. Gonna come up short by about 1.5 yards. It's 4th down around midfield. Any thoughts you were going?
Well, I'll tell you, yeah, I would definitely go here. And you see the explosion from Cozart on that run. That's some serious speed coming out of the pocket. He almost got chased down by number 88, Schuler. But I'll tell you, that's some speed around. That's something West Virginia's going to have to deal with. And that's the running frequency, Beth, I'm talking about in this down and distance situation. Again, it's going to be a full box here. It's going to have to get to the edge quick, or one of these receivers have to catch the ball quickly.
And it's going to be a timeout, Kansas, so they can talk about it.
Timeout. Kansas. First of the half. 30 seconds in length.
You can kick off week 9 of your NFL Sunday on ESPN. First at 10 Eastern, it's the Insiders. Then at 11, Sunday NFL Countdown. It's also streaming live on your ESPN app. And, of course, Anthony Beck, the guy who played here at West Virginia and then moved on to the NFL. In his younger days, 83 catches, over 1,000 yards.
Oh, watch his hop.
11 touchdowns. Oh, man, you got him sliding all over the place.
That's a credit card jump.
3 trips to bowl games and then a first-round pick by the New York Jets in 2000.
A lot of great memories, I'll tell you. I'm trying to keep the weight off now just to stay around that playing weight. But I'll tell you what a great time. It was a heck of a run.
Played for Don Nealon, and we hope to have Coach with us a little bit later on, but it's 4th and 2 here. Kansas taking a chance at midfield. And they'll pooch punt it. So they thought about it, they called the timeout, they talked it over, and then their quarterback will kick it.
Well, I'll tell you, when you got that many bodies of defenders at the line of scrimmage, it's going to be tough to get something in the run game going on 4th and short. And then, of course, when you're playing man-to-man coverage and you're taking risks, and you have a cover 0 with no safety in the back, that challenges you as an offense to get something positive on.
Interesting move, though, because their defense has actually played pretty well so far in this first quarter. But instead of having it around midfield, West Virginia will get it at the 23. Kennedy McCoy stays in there at tailback. Again, no Russell Shell tonight for West Virginia. They run it left out across the 25. 57 yards and a field goal in the opening drive for West Virginia, but negative yardage in their last 2 possessions.
Well, they had a game-changing pass down the sidelines to Gibson to kind of change the field position, and ever since then, this Kansas defense has put some pressure with some line stunts. They've had some linebackers come in the face of Howard and forced and rushed his opportunities down the field.
Credit to their DC, Clint Bowen, a former Jayhawk on the coaching staff. McCoy keeps his feet. And McCoy with the burst across midfield. Down to the 30-yard line. Ogletree finally brought him down, but a gain of 44.
But he's a true freshman. But look at this guy, 6 foot, 6'1". He's got some pretty strides, good balance. I mean, that's a big back running through. Doesn't look like he's going fast, but he's hitting that hole, creating some big yards.
One thing very apparent down here, Anthony, this is not your normal Big 12 offensive line that just kind of occupies guys and gets in their way. They're coming off the ball and attacking guys.
And run McCoy. Rolled over at about the 23. Armstrong with the tackle.
And you're right, Rocky. You know, it starts with the center, number 65, Orlowski. And then you can look all the way across the board. They got a tight end in there. You don't see too many tight ends in Dana Holgorsen offenses. Wesco on the right side playing it.
The deep ball incomplete. You may call Orlowski ornery. He's that kind of character. He doesn't take any guff from anybody.
Yeah, he gets a little mean. He's a little cantankerous. That's a big word. You know, I went to West Virginia, learned some things, but he gets a little agitated sometimes. And they say he's one of the more nasty players on this West Virginia team.
Dana was telling us Tyler thinks he's running the show, and I'm fine letting him think he's running the show. He's got a great relationship with his quarterback as well. Howard, though, has missed on his last 4 passing attempts. He's going to run it here for the first down, and he'll get the touchdown.
Well, we said it, Beth. Crowd loves it, number 1. Empty sets. Receivers wide. Then you have a fullback in the hip there, playing a semi-tight end, leading the way, but Howard just as elusive with his legs as he is with his arm.
Takes it 22 yards right up the middle. His 5th rushing touchdown of the season. Mike Molina, the junior from Hurricane, West Virginia. PAT is good.
Well, tight ends don't get a lot of love, but watch number 28. He's going to lead the way, knock out the defender, and it's going to be a smooth and sailing for the quarterback.
5 plays, 77 yards. It only took him 1 minute and 37 seconds, and Skyler Howard with the 22-yard run for 6. And a 10-0 lead for West Virginia here with 2:20 to go in the first quarter. Mountaineers in the first college football playoff rankings out this week. They come in at number 20 and very much in the race for a Pac-12 championship. Excuse me, a Big 12 championship, a game behind Oklahoma. And let's get an update right now from Chris Cobb.
All right, let's start over on ESPNU. Florida State at NC State, and the Pack strike first. Ryan Finley finds Braylon Sherry, who scores. So it's 7-3 right now. NC State on top, early second quarter. Meanwhile, Georgia and Kentucky, with Florida's loss earlier in the day, throws the SEC East wide open, and Georgia strikes first. Isaiah McKenzie taking it in 7-0 Dogs on the SEC now.
Oh, it could be a rough day for the Florida teams. The Gators already lose. The Seminoles trailing early. And the run is Taylor Martin.
Kansas has gotten some nice production, Beth, on first down. They got to calm down a little bit. The penalties, we talked about them. Cozart's got to take control of the offense, get these receivers, these linemen settled down so they get a little confidence. Coach Beatty talked about it. They lack a little bit of that. They can get some positive plays. It can help them be successful.
They talked about trying to get a better start tonight. They've had their problems on the road. Rocky?
Of all the speed and aggression of this defense, the guy who makes it tick is number 49, Darian Howard, the nose tackle. He requires double teams most of the time. He might have just gotten a flag right there, but you cannot single block that guy out there.
May have gotten flagged. Are they going to give it to both guys? The flag came after Howard shoved one of the Jayhawks.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Defense number 3, 15-yard penalty, automatic first down. First unsportsmanlike on number 3.
Well, they called it on Benton instead.
Yeah, well, you know, you got to be smart. It looked like it was Howard's arms there with the blue jerseys, but you've got to be disciplined. And Dana Holgorsen saying, listen, you got to be able to handle yourself and not cost the team. You don't want to give Kansas any yards right now because it's been hard for them to move it up the field. This makes it a little easier for them.
Benton off to the side. Hodari Christian will replace him as the Mike linebacker.
Noble comes in at the top of the screen right here. Someone they'll have to block in the pass and run game.
Kansas handles the four-man rush. Incomplete, looking deep for Sims.
Number 11.
Beatty talked about Sims. He's basically like a track star. Number 11, also number 1, Gonzalez. These guys are only 5'6", 175 pounds, but they can run like the best of them. Again, it's hard, though, when you have shorter targets, Beth, to be precise in the deep passing game, and that's shown its face a little bit the last 2 games.
Both those guys just 5'10", Sims and Gonzalez. Again with Martin. Short yardage. It's going to be 3rd down.
You see Benton come down that backside. Every time they run the ball to the right, they always have a backside hitter. Every time they run the ball to the left. And again, with this 3rd down package, Tony Gibson's making some substitutions. And the fact that they're not lined up, Beth, gives a little confusion, too, to Kansas.
How about a 3-2-6 alignment on this 3rd down? Catch is made by Sims, but he lost his footing, and it's 4th down.
He would have had a chance there, some off coverage. Again, he's so fast. He just keeps his feet. He might be able to kind of shake and wiggle. Fleming defending him on the inside. Got to be able to sustain drives, Beth. The one thing you counter an offense and a tough defense is trying to drum something up. Coach Beatty talked about how important it was to set the tone early. Right now, not a lot going on offensively for Kansas.
Cole Moose punts it away, and it's a good one for Kansas. That's going to die on the 5-yard line. 47 yards on the punt. We're celebrating its 12th year sponsoring the Good Hands Field Goal Nets. Allstate makes contributions to participating universities' general scholarship funds for each field goal and extra point kicked. To date, Allstate has contributed millions in scholarship funds. 10-0 West Virginia. Skyler Howard a 22-yard rushing touchdown. Mike Molina the 35-yard field goal. And now they'll start on their own 5-yard line. Kennedy McCoy and Elijah Wellman lining up in the I formation. Still another look. And McCoy, all kinds of room off the right side, out to the 29, behind Kyle Bosch.
I tell you, they're getting some huge holes up front. This offensive line, Orlowski, the right guard, Bosch, torquing his guy in. It's a heck of a way to end the quarter for these West Virginia Mountaineers.
On a 24-yard run. First is in the books and a 10-0 lead for West Virginia as the Mountaineers try and keep pace in the Big 12 conference race. Back here in Morgantown as we get set to start the second quarter, 10-0 West Virginia. They've only run it 5 times, but they've had some good success. Running against a Kansas defense that has given up 66 runs of over 10 yards.
Yeah, number 9, the strong safety, Fish Smithson. He's their best tackle. He's got to get in the box. Defensive coordinator Clint Bowen talked about him getting up tight. So far, he's been off the line of scrimmage early on.
The pass complete to Jovan Durant.
He led the country last year in solo tackles, Beth. He's got to get involved in this run game. If he's going to play 10, 15 yards off the line, this West Virginia offensive line and run game is going to start continuing to gash this Kansas defense.
3-year starter out of Baltimore with the 1 tackle in the first quarter. McCoy and Wellman again in the eye. McCoy has run for 80 yards. That's more total offense for Kansas than Kansas has so far tonight. And a flag down as he gets out across the 45 and an 8-yard gain. Would be a first down if it holds.
Holding. Defense number 96, 10-yard penalty. Added to the end of the run. First down.
It's Daniel Wise, the sophomore from Louisville, Texas, brother of Dietrich Wise, one of the stars of the Arkansas Razorbacks who beat Florida today.
Well, what happens is he's got two offensive linemen. He holds them to prevent the second-level block. Referee on top of it. But right now, West Virginia's offensive line controlling this defensive line of Kansas last few plays.
The fake to McCoy and the toss to Gibson on the end around. Gibson with the cutback at the 30 and down to the 20-yard line. And another big play for this West Virginia offense.
Well, I'll tell you, they use tight ends, they use fullbacks, and they're going to get out here. Watch the fullback lead around. He's going to sell it, then jump outside. Gibson with a ton of speed, following the big guys up front. It's a huge play for 25 yards.
Get right up there and snap it and give it to McCoy again.
Kansas got to find a way to kind of stop the bleeding right now on defense. Again, we talked about how the safety's been off. They continue to have this cover two look in the back end. You'll see the safeties. Look how far back right here. They got to get involved. They're obviously nervous about the pass game, but they're going to have to start getting one of these two players in the box.
Stick it in the belly of McCoy. Down to the 16-yard line. Damani Mosby with it. Well, Kennedy McCoy had a career-high 10 rushes against Oklahoma State. His career high is 99 yards, and he's already up to 93 here early in the second quarter on 8 carries. He gets hammered in the backfield, but Howard will keep it and upended inside the 5 by Mike Lee. And Howard fired up by his own effort right there.
Yeah, I'll tell you, he is a tough quarterback. He's 6 foot, 200 pounds. But watch this. Gets upended by number 11, Lee. Falls down, gets right back, bounces back up. Again, I'll tell you, that vertical jump is unbelievable. Luckily, he falls on his back. Very dangerous situation there as they line up in that reverse wishbone, Beth, we talked about early in the game.
That was actually Lee who may have been nicked up. Now Howard looking to the corner of the end zone for Shorts, incomplete. Ogletree had it covered. They have had issues in the red zone, getting 6 instead of settling for 3. They've got another chance here, 2nd and goal.
Hey, you're down this tight. Your offensive line's had a lot of success with the push. I think they're going to lean on this again in this reverse wishbone look.
McCoy running right, lunging. Stopped at about the 1-foot line, 3rd and goal. Shaquille Richmond was the guy that came up there to get the stop.
Well, right now, it's a nice job by this Kansas defense at the goal line. The problem is they're about an inch away. Quarterback sneak here.
Howard waiting for the signal. We're going to say he's still short.
I don't know. It looked like he was able to push through. Interesting call there. The ball was literally 2 inches from the goal line, Beth. All he had to do was get the snap and push forward. I mean, heck, the ball from the center's already over the line.
So's number 30 across the line. Tevin Shaw appeared to be offsides.
Well, it looks like half of his body's over the line, but the referee couldn't see the ball.
We're going to go on 4th down. McCoy hit in the backfield and he's stopped. Outstanding penetration by Richmond.
Well, they've been selling inside run, quarterback sneak. Howard audibles, they try to get outside, but Johnny on the spot, number 4, Richmond, is able to read it. Watch it, everybody's coming inside, but 4 has the awareness and the wherewithal to get underneath, chop down. Remember, a 6'1" tailback Everybody's excited there, especially defensive coordinator Clint Bowen, who jumps up and gives his man Richmond a high five.
11 plays, 94 yards, and the Mountaineers come up empty. Big defensive stand for Kansas down inside the 1-yard line, and West Virginia denied. They still have the 10-0 lead, and the Jayhawks will work with their quarterback standing in his own end zone. And Keon Kinner right behind Cozart. They're going to throw. And a miscommunication out on the edge with with Sims. How about the defensive effort?
Yeah, well, number 11, Lee comes in and really cuts down. And his replacement after he got banged up there, number 4, Richmond, a redshirt freshman, taking down the tall, true freshman running back for West Virginia. It's a heck of a stop at the goal line. Now they got to find a way, Beth, to get themselves out of that situation and get some positive yards.
Just 76 total yards here so far in the first half for Kansas. Cozart gets out to the 2. Christian Brown with the stop. It's a team that has lost 39 in a row on the road. They have not won a Big 12 game in their last 17 starts in a row.
Try to get a designed run there. You see the multiple substitutions by Kansas, which is going to change personnel for West Virginia. Again, I would expect maybe bringing an extra player here. Watch number 8 right here. He's the hybrid. He could be a rusher or a coverage guy to make this a quick decision for the quarterback.
They'll stay in coverage, and Kansas will run it up the middle. And a big tackle made by Wachuku on Keon Kinner to set up 4th down.
And you know, this defensive line, they're not penetrating. They're 2-gappers, which means they're going to get their hands on the offensive lineman, ride them, and Noble Wachuku does a nice job. He's one of the best on this team as an impact player. And I know Rocky has studied a lot of these defensive linemen.
That's what really separates this 3-3 stack versus other 3-3 stacks I've seen. Usually 3-3-5s have very small defensive linemen and they shoot gaps, right? This one have a bigger, 265, 275-pound defensive ends. They hold up those guys. Linebackers attack.
9:40 to go in the first half. Back in a moment.
ESPN College Football, brought to you by Dave & Buster's, the only place to eat, drink, play, and watch sports. And Mazda, driving matters.
Over 2 decades patrolling the sidelines here at West Virginia, Don Nehlen, who left and entered the Hall of Fame, College Football Hall of Fame, still looking great at 80 years young, and the winningest coach at West Virginia with 149. And when they honored him just a second ago, a lot of his former players were out on the field. I don't know if they were able to lift him and carry him off like they did back in his day as the West Virginia coach. And I know Anthony, you and a lot of those guys were at a roast for Coach last night and had a great time with him.
Yeah, well, I was one of the roasters. I actually led the party, which was a little uneasy, trying to be that first guy and make sure everybody laughs at your first joke. But you can't say too many negative things about Coach Nehlen. He's, the only head coach in America that gave me a shot out of high school.
Block in the back. Offense number 2. 10-yard penalty. Replay first down.
But I'll tell you, he gave me the reason, the wherewithal, and the place here at West Virginia to build myself up and, accomplish the goals that I had set in front of me. And, it's just a legend here in West Virginia. He is West Virginia, Beth.
Back in the heyday of the Big East, he had things rocking and rolling here at Mountaineer Field, Marlon Pushkar Stadium. And Howard, the completion across the middle down to the 45 to DeKeel Shorts. We need to check in now with Chris Cotter.
All right, Beth, some Big Ten action. And let's go to the shoe over on ABC. Tommy Armstrong Jr. had to take care of the football in this game. Turnover already. Buckeyes take it to the house. 7-0 early over on ABC.
Well, Chris, 10-0 here for West Virginia over Kansas. They've gone up-tempo. The completion to Shelton Gibson for the Mountaineers, down inside the 35 and a gain of 12.
Multiple formations, again, now back in the huddle. They just change it up, and it really does put stress on the defense, because now they're running, they go slower, better.
They got a tight end out there, Anthony.
Yeah, they do. Number 81 on the bottom of the screen.
Howard, nice ball fake. He'll keep it weaving through the defense, and he's got his second touchdown run of the night. This one from 33 yards out.
That's a heck of a ball fake by the quarterback. Everybody thinks it's in the running back's hands, and nice block on the outside by the fullback. And Skylar Howard's showing us right now that he can be just as effective and dangerous with his legs.
Touchdown runs of 22 and 33 here in the first half for Skylar Howard. For the senior out of Fort Worth, Texas.
Two with his legs, one of the best passers in college football. Today he's changing it up versus Kansas defense.
State rocked the vote today with that upset of number 4 Texas A&M. So we'll see a change coming on Tuesday night when the next set of rankings comes out. West Virginia, one of those teams hoping to move up. They open up at number 20 this week. It is a gorgeous night here in Morgantown, and a 17-0 lead over Kansas as the boot goes into the end zone. Let's take a look at the hardest working player, brought to you by Duluth.
Nobody talks about the fullback, but number 20, Elijah, watch him, Wellman, come out fake and then come up and block. Number 9, their best defender, coming downhill. Got to get a block on Smithson. Good job pushing him back. That's his second block on one of Skylar Howard's 2 touchdown runs today.
And Anthony, what makes him so effective, in my opinion, is Big 12 defenses aren't used to seeing a fullback. You don't practice it in the spring. You don't practice it much during training camp. So now all of a sudden, you have to account for that fullback and a guy blocking on the second level. The defenses haven't seen it.
Look at that eye, black man.
He came ready to work.
Halloween might have been a couple weeks ago, but I'll tell you, for him, he's coming out ready to hit somebody.
Wellman, the junior out of Huntington, West Virginia. It's back to work for a Kansas team that now finds itself down 17-0. But Rocky is a defensive guy that is used to a lot of high-flying aerial assaults around the rest of the league. A different look, as you mentioned, from Gibson with that fullback.
That's what separates this West Virginia attack. And also the fullback, they do so many different things with him. They'll bring him in one direction, the run will come off another direction. So if you're trying to follow the fullback with your eyes, it'll take you another way.
That was Jared Harper coming up from the secondary, the 5th-year senior out of Frostburg, Maryland, playing the bandit, the position that Carl Joseph used to roam back there.
You see the speed of the second level. Linebackers, spur players, everybody gets involved. And then when you get to that third down opportunity, Beth, it's going to be tight coverage, man-to-man across the board. What will West Virginia do with those 3 inside linebackers?
Throwing over the top, and he drops it right into Steven Sims.
I'll tell you, West Virginia's defense brings some pressure on the outside. And I'll tell you, Kozer drops a perfect pass down to Sims. Excellent play call.
And that's the downside of this kind of attack. You're bringing and blitzing so many guys that leaves your corners on an island on the outside.
32 yards on that pass play, and then they come back with an incompletion intended for Gonzalez.
And it forces the quarterback to be precise, right, Rocky? I mean, the windows are small. That's why they haven't had the success on the deep balls. But that's probably the best thrown ball he's thrown in 2 weeks. It's a nice job by Kozart. 8 of 16. He's only 50% on the day. But plays like that, changing the field, can help this offense and help their defense too, Beth.
Trying to get them some rest. West Virginia's been able to move the football. They'll throw the receiver screen. Shaquem Barbell at 6'3". He's been the easiest target to find.
it's important they complete some of those deep passes, because then if they can continue to do that, it's going to force the defense to not bring as many guys, have some safety help over the top. And what that's going to do is help clean up the look in the middle of the field so the quarterback Kozar can look there.
3rd and 4. They're going to try and run for it. Kinner. And he's going to come up short.
Fourth and 2, Beth. This is a big stop. This offense has to find a way against this high-risk defense.
Kozart will keep it. Burrowing his way.
It's going to be close.
Forward for maybe a yard, but he needed 2. Officials still eyeing it. Taking a look. And West Virginia gets the stop. And they will take over on downs.
Again, the activity at the linebacker position. You see Benton there. Watch the second level. They're able to shoot the gaps. You come off the edge, and then the rest of the team just pushes back the quarterback. Kozar gets close to that line, but again, comes up short. It's a heck of a stop by Tony Gibson and his defense. Let's look at it again. We'll see. When his body comes close to that yellow line. Now that's not accurate. They has to get to the 20, just past the 28 into the 27. It's hard for our angle here to see it.
Ruling on the field was it came up short, so they're going to need to find video proof to the contrary for Kansas to keep it here with 5:59 to go in this first half. Down 17-0. Skylar Howard with a couple of rushing touchdowns so far for the Mountaineers.
After further review, ruling on the field stands. Short of the line of game. First down, West Virginia.
And it will stay with the Mountaineers, so they get the 4th down stop. Here on a Saturday night at Mountaineer Field, where West Virginia is honoring their legendary coach, Don Neal. And thank you so much for joining us, Coach. I know you had a great time with a lot of your former players, including Anthony last night. What was one of the highlights for you?
We had so many highlights, I can't name them all. But this big guy, number one, he's so daggone good looking. But
I like that right there.
It was
a replay of that.
It was a great night, and we're going to whip these guys, so that'll put the icing on the cake.
I like the confidence. He still brings it.
You know, Coach, it was so cool last night seeing you. What was kind of the funniest moment last night when you were getting all those players roasting you up on the stage?
Well, you know what? I kind of think it was when Major talked a little bit and said, Coach, that house out on the lake was terrific. I just loved it. It was dynamite.
Yeah, that was good times. You know, Coach, so many memories here at Mountaineer Field. What's one of those lasting memories of all the seasons here that was prominent during your career?
Well, you know, in 1988, we won our 11th football game, and the stadium was packed. Our team went in the locker room. Nobody left. Nobody left. We came back out and made a circle around, and all 64,000 people stood and cheered. It was an unbelievable moment in Mountaineer football.
Well, they're trying to make another unbelievable moment this season, Coach. They're off to the 6-1 start. They've got Kansas tonight. You've got a couple of huge home games here for the Mountaineer faithful to enjoy coming up with Oklahoma and Baylor coming to town here this month.
I like our chances. The league doesn't play very good defense, and we do.
Howard almost able to hook up on the deep throw there. Durant couldn't hang on, or excuse me, Karan White, the intended receiver.
Daggone it. I thought he had it.
Yeah, wow, that's a great throw.
Yep.
Just got to track that football. The big lights in the evening. That could have been a big play for West Virginia's offense. Let's talk about offenses, Coach. I mean, I don't remember the speed of the game being so fast when we were playing. Could you manage this kind of pace back when you were coaching?
Well, heavens, yeah, I could have managed it. But
you had to use a tight end. That was the problem.
Well, yeah, I had to use you, Tony. Well, I'll tell you right now, there's nothing like having a tight end. But, you know, what they've done is they make you defend the whole field. And they do everything by the numbers. You know, you got so many in the box, they run or they throw. And that's basically what everybody's doing. You got to put more speed on defense. Yeah. And you have to camouflage what you're doing. You can't let the offense know what you're doing. If you just line up and stand there, hey, I'd be moving those guys all over. I wouldn't let Skyler know what we're doing. Hey, but that's just me.
Let's get you down with Tony Gibson. I think you're ready to go and coach the defense. We know you're an offensive guy.
There's another big play for the Mountaineer offense, and Justin Crawford with the cutback inside the 20-yard line.
I already talked to Tony. You don't know what he's doing.
Well, you know, it's funny because so many great tailbacks. You see number 25 Crawford with the speed, the quickness for this West Virginia offense. A couple good running backs in your day that I'm sure you can remember.
Oh, yeah. Amos and Avon and Adrian Morrell and Hunter Johnson and A.B. Brown. We had all kind of. Robert Alexander early in my career. We had all kind of great backs.
They'd love a night like tonight, Coach Nealon. The Mountaineers have already run for 231 yards here in the first half.
Now, we didn't have a running quarterback, Coach. The Mark Bolgers, the Oliver Lux, the Hosteller was athletic, but after that, nobody ran quite like Skyler Howard has tonight.
No, they, you know, all the guys are more athletic today. They're bigger and stronger. You know, when we recruited a lot of receivers, nobody threw the ball to them in high school.
Yeah.
And then the quarterback may have thrown 15, 16 passes in high school. Now they come in here and they've run this offense. They've already thrown 40, 50 passes in a high school game. So it's a different situation, different ball game. I call it basketball on grass.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying, Anthony, when Tony Becht came into town, he didn't have this kind of speed, Coach? You had to work with him on that?
Well, fudge it a little bit. Come on, Coach.
Tony, when we ran him in the 40-yard dash, I went up in the office and came back and got him when he finished. That's not true, Tony.
Well, you know, Coach, I love it. You know, a lot of the guys here in the crew have been asking me, you know, to ask you this question, but who are your top 3 players? Now, I'll start. I'm one. So who are the next 2 top West Virginia Mountaineers you've ever coached?
Well, Darryl Talley was a great player.
Yes, he was.
Darryl Talley was a great player. You know, we had a lot of them. You know, Rich Brem was a great lineman. Mike Compton was a great lineman. Major was a great quarterback. Jeff Hosteller.
Pass breakup in the end zone intended for Gibson, and a flag might be some pass interference.
Jeff Hosteller, 2 Super Bowl rings. I mean, played 14 years and was smart enough to marry my daughter. So he's got to be one of the top, right?
That's a bold move to marry your daughter as a former player.
Yeah, I know. I'm glad he was a good player.
You see this pass interference, got a hold of his jersey, and that's going to be held and called every time.
Ball will be placed on the 2-yard line.
That was on Ogletree.
Well, Coach, what are you doing now in your free time? What are you doing to stay busy? I mean, it's been quite a while now. You're collecting a lot of hardware, a lot of awards and recognition. But what's kind of going on for you day to day?
Well, it seems like I don't know what I do, but I'm always doing something. But you know, Tony, I worked for the West Virginia Polo Association for a long time, and I really love that association. And I worked for the Greenbrier. The Greenbrier is the crown jewel of West Virginia.
How's your play-by-play, Coach? You ready to call it here first and goal from the 2?
I'm going to run that thing in.
Yeah, that's one thing Coach did well. We ran the ball.
Crawford?
Yeah. Whether it was 3rd and 1, 3rd and 12, we're going to run the ball. And Dana Holgerson's not real happy right now with the personnel set up and getting his play in there. Showing that reverse wishbone, Beth, that Well, there are multiple formations that they run.
Illegal substitutions. Offense. Breaking the huddle with 12 players. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
And that was that anger of Coach Holgerson, obviously trying to get that personnel in. Looked a little bit of that fire I saw from you, Coach, when I ran out on the field. I wasn't supposed to be out there.
Yeah, I know. That makes the coach mad.
What do you think of the job Coach Holgerson's been doing here the last 6 seasons?
I think he's done a great job. He's recruited well. He's a good guy. I think our program is in good shape.
Howard to the end zone. DeKeel Shorts. Touchdown, West Virginia.
Hey, Tony, so much for running it in.
Yeah, bad prediction. But I'll tell you, when you got receivers like this, Coach, watch him on the inside. The third receiver, number 6, they're going to run man-to-man coverage, and he's basically winning with speed versus Richmond on the inside. And this is the go-to target for Skylar Howard all season. He loves throwing to DeKeel Shorts, and he's showing why he's been such a reliable receiver for this West Virginia team.
Tony, that's our old smash route.
It is. Hit the corner.
Yeah.
Well, you brought good luck to the Mountaineers, Coach, when you came up and joined us here. Don Nealon in the booth, the winningest coach in Mountaineer history. With one of his best recruiting jobs and perhaps his greatest coaching job, Tony Becht.
Tony Becht.
Amen.
Thanks, Coach. Appreciate it, my friend. Love you.
Don Nealon in the booth with us, enjoying a good night for the Mountaineers.
See you then.
Looking forward to that, Chris, and the discussions can start after the first Saturday since the first playoff rankings release, as the number 4 team, Texas A&M, loses. And it would apparently be Washington's spot to gain if they can win on the road tonight at Cal. Another outstanding day for Lamar Jackson in Louisville today. Team that's on the outside looking in, Ohio State, a big game tonight at home against Nebraska.
I really like Washington, Beth. I'm really high on them. I know they weren't in the top 4 of the rankings, but I think they're one of the best teams from my eyes and what I've seen. And
yeah, they got an 11-game winning streak with their quarterback Jake Browning, and a nice pop by Rasul Douglas, who also has an interception tonight on Ben Johnson.
I'll tell you, Douglas is such an aggressive player, great cover corner. And again, he's just staying home for that little naked route to the tight end. And he just takes some nice square up, wrap, run through his hips.
Anthony, the speed of this defense is really eye-popping down here on the field. Guys are coming from every different angle. It just doesn't seem to be room for this offense to breathe out here.
Well, we heard from head coach Dana Holgerson yesterday. We heard from head coach emeritus Don Nealon up here just a moment ago. The speed that's necessary now on the defensive side to try and compete with all these high-scoring offenses in the conference. And some news from around the Big 12. Of course, the Oklahoma Sooners the other night beat Iowa State to stay in first place with their 6th straight win.
That was a close game yesterday. How about this one, Beth? 688 yards, TCU. I mean, heck, Kansas took TCU all the way to a final field goal. Almost beat them. They come out and get the big win. Mason Rudolph, 5 touchdowns. Of course, that was huge last week for West Virginia. With their turnovers, Oklahoma State took advantage. Slowly, Oklahoma State now kind of getting themselves in the mix in the Big 12.
Had a couple of scores late in the 4th quarter to win that. Remember, West Virginia doesn't want a head-to-head with Oklahoma State. They do not have the tiebreaker.
Right.
Guys, how about Texas running back Deontay Foreman over, 320 yards?
Yeah.
Close to that? That's quite a day.
How about 341 and 3 scores for Foreman? Texas gearing up for West Virginia coming to town next week. 3rd and 8 for Kansas. Cozart pass behind Sims and almost picked by Jeremy Tyler. And it's 4th down.
It's tight coverage everywhere. There's just no breathing room for the wide receiver. Number 2, Tyler does a nice job of almost picking this off, and a bit of huge turnover. But again, there's a window there for Cozart. He just can't hit it. Accuracy not down. He's been good at that 5-yard accuracy, but tonight it's been a struggle.
Down around the 45-yard line, a short field with 1.5 minutes here in the half for West Virginia. Well, this college football season, stream every game live on the ESPN app and on Watch ESPN. You can download the app or visit watchespn.com today. Of course, it should already be on your phone and your tablet and every other device.
We're checking all the Big 12 scores, trying to figure out where they fall right now after this long day of football. And
she's got her West Virginia-Oklahoma shirt on from the Fiesta Bowl years ago. That's the last time they've beaten Oklahoma, by the way. They've lost all 4 of their matchups since joining the league. And another new formation here for the offense. Howard wrapped up behind the line by Dorrance Armstrong, who came into the day tied for the Big 12 lead in sacks and tackles for loss, and will pick up another one there.
Timeout. West Virginia, first of the half.
And he's
30
been
seconds in lead.
And he's been kind of taken away right now in this football game. They blocked him up, done a nice job.
Here's how the Big 12 is shaping up. Oklahoma at 6-0, but as you can see, the Sooners and State Anthony with 2 losses. Is West Virginia possibly the conference's best chance to get into the playoff if they can win the rest of their games?
Well, right now, they still have Oklahoma and Baylor at home. So, Dana was saying how the schedule works out favorable as far as where they get to play these teams. And they have a chance. I mean, right now, though, this is the team. Oklahoma State's the team inching up. But you look at this schedule remaining, Beth, and you see the probabilities. How about that Texas game at Texas? Only 51% win probability. Charlie Strong's done a nice job at home with his team. It'll be a tough challenge. And Foreman, like Rocky was saying, rushing for over 300 yards. They'll be tested.
They won't have a championship game until next year, the Big 12, but they've always done a good job of backloading their schedules to have all their big games late in the year. Howard rifles one downfield, and it's caught to the 35 by Shorts.
It's another crossing route. Now they're going to speed the tempo. The protection has been masterful. You see this double stack look. Hard for man-to-man coverage to stay on their guy because they don't know where they're going to run.
21 yards on that pass play. Howard out of the pocket. Shovels it forward out of bounds. Incomplete. 1:04 to go in the half.
Again, the crossing route, perfectly thrown ball. Such a tough throw because the quarterback, Howard, is so short. But really, it's the protection. Nobody in white gets around the quarterback. When you have all day to throw, you can be successful. That's why his accuracy has risen up, because the guys up front like Orlowski at center and Pankey at left tackle.
Day with 4 touchdown passes against TCU, 5 TD throws against Youngstown State. He's been responsible for 3 scores so far tonight in the first half. And Howard out of the gun, whistle before the snap. Eddie Shelton, the referee, over there talking with David Beatty.
The coach is calling a timeout to challenge the ruling on the field. Quarterback is beyond the line of scrimmage.
So Beatty wants to question as to whether or not Howard was over the line of scrimmage on that last incompletion.
There is no timeout. The previous play is under further review.
Yeah, well, he flips the ball. The question is, if any part of his body is behind the line too, Beth, not the football, it's a legit pass forward. So
Line of scrimmage is the 36. Oh, that's the play that was stopped.
And again, you know, the rule has changed slightly, or not changed, but for clarity reasons. If a quarterback were to go past the line and it looks like half of his body's past, the ball's over. If any part of his body's still behind the line when he throws it, you're good. You know, so it's still a pass. And again, when it's close, I'm going to check it out here.
Further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. Second down.
There it is. The black line's a line of scrimmage.
It looked like it was simultaneous there. He throws the ball. So they confirmed the call, Beth. But again, it's a good play by Kansas, forcing him out of the pocket and creating that. And again, keeping it second and long.
Against the four-man rush. Howard again with time. And the completion for a first down. White breaks the tackle and gets down inside the 20-yard line. 17 yards on that hookup. And they are back in the red zone.
And here's that tempo, Beth. That's the change right now for West Virginia. They can speed it up at any point.
3 trips so far, 1 score, looking for another one. The catch is made by Shelton Gibson, touchdown.
A one-on-one coverage. Go to your veteran receiver, number 1. You saw the concentration earlier. Look at it now. He's tracking that ball, not worried about where the defender is. He's all over him, really. He's able to get his hands under the ball. That right foot inbounds. It's a heck of a job. Again, controlling the ball. Does he have control? There's the right foot. Looks like the ball's still pressed against his body there as he brings it down. I'm going to confirm it here.
It would be the 5th touchdown catch of the year for Gibson.
Dana thinks it's good, that's for sure.
Frustrated by the delay.
Yep.
And the touchdown will stand, a 19-yarder to Gibson. Molina on for the extra point. 31-0 Mountaineers. 2 touchdown passes, 2 touchdown rushes for Skylar Howard. Mountaineers have scored on their last 3 possessions and have busted this one open. The Mountaineer doing some push-ups down there. That's our buddy Troy Clemens. Anthony had a lovely day yesterday with Troy walking around campus.
He's going to be doing a lot of push-ups today if Kansas defense and their offense can't drum something up. Not a great stop or opportunity to stop there, Beth. Getting some more points on the board right before the half. It's a great job by West Virginia, capitalizing.
On the return, good coverage by the West Virginia special teams. Well, how about a backstage pass right now with more on the West Virginia Mountaineers?
I'm back at Mountaineer Field where it all started with me, and I'm with Troy Clemens, the 2016 Mountaineer.
You know, Anthony, you went to school here about 15 to 20 years ago, but I'm going to give you a little tour here today.
Let's go do it. Talk about your preparation for the Mountaineer football games.
Well, I want to get there as early as I can, start getting people fired up for some Mountaineer football. We have the man trip usually about 2 hours before the game, get to lead the team into the stadium, and then get all the folks in there ready to cheer on the Mountaineers.
Hey, we're boys, man. Me and Troy, me and the Mountaineer are tight. I'm just glad I got an experience. I'll tell you, more people are asking him for autographs and selfies and pictures than they were me. Made me feel a little old, but he's a popular figure around town and a lot of history, obviously, Beth.
Not easy to become the Mountaineer.
Yeah, it is.
There's a tryout and everything.
There's a serious process. You got to write a paper and fill out some things, and you got to know what's going on. You got to be able to fill the gun. I mean, you got to know what's going on.
They test you with your how you fire up the crowd. It's certainly an honor. As the final seconds will tick away. And there is Clemens leading us into halftime in a 31-0 West Virginia lead. It's time for the Outback Steakhouse halftime report with Chris, Butch, and Jonathan. There has been both will and way for Skyler Howard through the first half of play. A couple of rushing touchdowns, a couple of touchdown tosses, and a 31-0 lead for West Virginia over Kansas. Beth Mullins, Anthony Beck, Rocky Boyman with us as well. Impressive in that first half for the ground attack, and it all started with the quarterback.
Well, it really did, and the thing about him, he's been a really extremely accurate quarterback on his deep balls, but his legs, what he's been able to do there, it started really with his arm. I mean, he's been able to get the ball out of his hands, his receivers, especially Shorts and Gibson, just being on target, letting them go up and make plays. And then today, just utilizing his lower body. I mean, he's been all over the place. Great blocking up front. He's rarely been touched in the running game, but really he's been the de facto that's given this offense balance. 231 yards rushing overall as a team. They've really exploded for big chunk plays. Kansas's defense has not done that. But again, big discrepancy there, Beth, on rushing yards.
Yeah, 5 of those runs were for better than 20 yards, including both of Howard's scores. They came from 22 and 33 yards out. And just 135 total yards for Kansas. And Kansas won the toss and deferred, so they will receive here to start out this third quarter. Kick is short. Gonzalez will have a chance. Bring it out across the 25, bottled up around the 29-yard line. And it'll be Montel Cozart again. 6 games this season. He started all 6 of those. And it's been a frustrating day trying to deal with that 3-3-5 defense that the Mountaineers bring and come at you from all different directions. He talked about never do what you show you're gonna do. Well, that has been the case today. All kinds of different looks to try and confuse Cozart. The run from Martin, no gain. Wachuku was there. Was he able to get the strip? Oh, I'm going to say he was down.
For Kansas offensively, you're down 31-0. You really have to try to just get back to what you're trying to start with in the game. Try to sustain a drive, get a first down, take those steps. It's always tough, and they're going to look at this one again probably.
The play of the runner down before the ball comes loose is under further review.
And again, you don't want to have this come up early on when you come out of the halftime, where a ball has to be reviewed early on to see if it comes out. A big hit, Noble. Wachuku does a nice job. Kaiser White in on the tackle. And, forward momentum is going to be the question here. When does it stop? The ball comes out. But again, is he going forward?
It appeared to be stripped out of there before he made, before he hit the ground, but it's going to be that whistle of forward progress. Can we hear it?
Yeah. I think he still has it when the whistle goes off, which would say, his forward momentum would stop. Want to hold on to that ball, but that's what West Virginia's being taught. Strip the ball, take it out. Number 8, Kaiser White. He's the spur. He's that dangerous player, that hybrid strong safety linebacker that's going to try to pull it out these running backs' hands. And Martin's got to do a good job don't leave any doubt, right, Beth,
Yep.
as a running back. Hold on the entire time, and he's keeping his fingers crossed, but it looks like it's going to stay in their possession.
Because you know they've been working on it a ton, because they come in with one more turnover tonight to give them 28 on the season. That is amongst the worst in the country.
Well, it was coming into the game.
Yeah.
Outside of what other teams had done. And again, they're really trying to figure it out. Again,
Beatty's talking with his offensive guys. They've all stayed out there. He thinks they're going to keep it.
You know, the replay officials in the booth, they also get to hear that whistle being blown and when that ball comes out. So similar to what we had to see.
The ruling on the field was forward progress was stopped prior to the ball coming loose. Second down.
So Kansas will keep it.
You know, it'd be nice for Kansas to try to get the ball to the perimeter. Maybe bring a couple receivers in motion, you know, do some jet sweeps, just something to maybe get to the edge. I know it's tough against this defense, but you got to try to do some things to shake up this front.
They'll run it again with Martin. Gets to the outside and runs right into White, who takes him down just outside the 30, a gain of 5.
If I was Kansas offense, I would try some sort of misdirection. We saw one early in the first quarter, a reverse or even a double reverse. Try to use the speed and aggression of this West Virginia defense against them. So misdirection or also some screens.
Yeah, and Rocky, you know, you spread it out here. You're in a manageable situation in 3rd and 5. You know, if West Virginia has a seam, maybe the quarterback takes off, or get yourself a receiver screen on the outside.
5 wide for Kozart. He'll loft it deep over the top. Incomplete. Intended for Gonzalez.
Anthony, I thought on that particular play, West Virginia did a good job of squeezing the rush lanes. I was looking to see if there might be an escape route there for Kozart, but there wasn't any. Those big-bodied defensive linemen, they really squeezed those gaps. Nowhere to run, and the pass was high.
Yeah, and you're right. And they brought those linebackers on a twist. Every gap was covered. I don't know if I like that play call, Rocky, being the fact that you kind of just give yourself a 60-40 shot on that throw when you have a manageable 3rd down.
Jennings cut down at the 22-yard line. 51 yards on the punt, 7 on the return. Colin Spencer with the tackle. 31-0, West Virginia the lead over Kansas. The Mountaineers number 20 in the playoff rankings. First release this week. Already an upset. Number 4 A&M loses. Louisville, huge win today. And the Fighting Flex, Western Michigan, still the front runner for the Group 5.
It's interesting. The eyeball test for me wasn't there with Texas A&M in the top 4. And it's interesting when you're looking at strength of schedule. I think it's a scale right now that's tough to gauge, being that when you get to the end of the season, you can really figure out how well these teams play.
And Anthony, the one thing to me about the first release of the rankings, of just trying to judge what the committee finds most important. You mentioned eye test, but also strength of schedule. For that reason, I actually had Clemson number 1 over Alabama. Now, I know if those two teams played 10 times, Alabama probably wins 9, but Clemson, they won at Auburn, who's won 6 straight. They beat Louisville. They won at Florida State the other week. So I think in terms of playing a tough schedule, for me, Clemson's number 1.
Alabama going on right now, by the way, with LSU scoreless, and we've got a fumble. Ball down on the deck, and it's recovered by Kansas. Dorrance Armstrong knocked it away from Skylar Howard. And the Jayhawks will take it in Mountaineer territory.
Yeah, they're going to run the read option. And it's just a little miscommunication. That decision when the pull or tuck, and the ball actually just slips out of Skylar Howard's hands. I think he got kind of surprised because number 2, Armstrong, was going at the running back, and he thought he was going to continue to go with him, and all of a sudden he shows up, and the ball slips out of his hands. Something this defense for Kansas sorely needed in this game. They really haven't gotten a break. West Virginia's been dominant on both sides. Kansas has to find a way to drum up some kind of offense just to get their confidence up, Beth, going into this second half.
Reminder, too, the temperatures are dropping here as we get deeper into the West Virginia night. Keon Kinner is on a tailback, and he will get the call and a nice run. fighting his way down inside the 15 for a first down and a 15-yard gain.
It's a nice start. You know, Kinner, I talked about Kinner. It's been hard for him to get to the second, third level because of the blocking. He's done a nice job. They say when he does get there, it becomes an explosive back. You see speed and quickness once he gets into that area.
It's their longest rush of the day. We'll give it back to Kinner, and now he's fighting for extra yards down inside the 10, Rocky.
Looking for reasons why that fumble may have occurred. The turf is not wet, but Anthony, you know this. When the temperatures start to drop as they are tonight, the ball almost gets a sort of a film on it. It gets a little bit harder, so I wonder if that was the issue for why that ball slipped out of Howard's hands.
Yeah, I mean, it's possible because it did come out just prior to him getting hit. Again, that whiff tied in with the quick hit of number 2, the defensive end, Armstrong.
They'll bring the tight end Johnson into the backfield. Kinner tried to follow him. Snakes his way down to the 6. David Long with the tackle.
Yeah, Long shooting that gap, but number 97, Wachuku, tremendous pressure on that run to really get that ball bounced outside. He's been impressive, Beth. A lot of flexibility with him as a defensive end. He's got speed to cover in the trenches and also get off blocks and chase backs down.
3rd and 2 for Kansas. Kinner again dives down to the 2, and it's 1st and goal, Jayhawks.
This is exactly what Kansas needed. We talked about getting some confidence, and it's been we're with running the ball, trying to get the tempo now. Catch West Virginia, not ready.
Quickly back up to the line. More Keon Kinner stacked up at the 1, and then the push forward by Kansas. Touchdown, Jayhawks.
Just follow some of those big bodies right up the middle. I'm a little slow getting off.
DeAndre Banks down at the bottom of that pile as it pushed forward.
Beth, piles are a dangerous place in football.
Yeah.
A lot of shots. Got defensive players shooting in. Everybody kind of piling on top. It's a good push though and squeeze in the middle of the field as Banks stays in there.
Matthew Wyman on to attempt the extra point. Kansas needing just a minute and a half to score off the turnover. 5 plays, 29 yards, and the big push to finish.
Get it inside. When in doubt, get behind the big lineman. It's been a tough season for the big guys, but they get some redemption here versus West Virginia's defense, who's been dominant so far today.
Temperatures dropping here in Morgantown, West Virginia. He's staying warm under that hair.
Shoulder pads keep you warm too, you know. He might have some heating pads under those.
31-7 as Kansas scores off of the turnover and then promptly kicks it out of bounds for the flag on the kickoff. Let's check in with Chris Cotter.
Let's check in with NC State and Florida State over on ESPNU. And Jalen Samuels, he kind of does a little bit of everything for the Wolfpack. He scores a touchdown here for him, and it's 20-10 right now. NC State over Florida State. About 2.5 minutes left to go in the third. Scoreless at the half in Baton Rouge. Alabama and LSU just knocking heads right now. Nobody has yet to dent the scoreboard, guys.
Wow, that's slobber knocker down
there? SEC battle right there. I'll tell you, Ed Orgeron has done a fantastic job so far, just getting this team energized, motivated, changing it up. It's going to be interesting to see if Jalen Hurts, the true freshman quarterback, on a 0-0 game, can lead that team to victory.
He's been so good in those pressure moments. Of course, for Alabama, they're on the tail end of that 4-game stretch against ranked opponents. And if they can get through LSU, things are looking good heading into a showdown with Auburn in the Iron Bowl at the end of the season. Of course, Auburn was a winner again today. It's 6 in a row. They hang on to beat Vanderbilt. Big news of the day so far, Texas A&M, the number 4 team, losing to Mississippi State. Still to come tonight, Washington, a team that may be able to move into that spot. Nice run there for Justin Crawford. And a gain of 25.
Both of these backs done a fantastic job. But I'll tell you, the back that's been most important is the fullback, number 28, Wellman. He's right next to the quarterback here. He's done a nice job blocking in space and doing the dirty work.
Oh, he picked up another nice block there to buy Howard some more time. And the catch made by Shorts.
It's so interesting watching this team go fast. Sometimes they huddle. Obviously, they're going to huddle more now with being up by so many scores. But I thought it was interesting talking to Dana Holgorsen about why. He said, look, these teams in the Big 12, so many coaches. You know, Patterson's been around since '98. Kingsbury's been around a long time. So the hand signals are getting stolen so much. You go into the huddle, and that stealing of the signals doesn't happen.
It's a copycat league, right, Rocky? And they use wristbands now. You'll see Skyler with one, and he dialed up a pretty good play there, Beth.
Crawford diving for the corner. And he's in. Touchdown, Mountaineers. 27 yards on the run. Terrific block by Orlowski, the center to Springham.
Well, when in doubt, run behind your best offensive lineman. Right there, 65, holding the point of attack. Pretty easy block for him. And Crawford, McCoy, all these backs, even Howard, have really been untouched most of the day through the line of scrimmage, tacking on another huge rushing play versus this Kansas defense.
Crawford now at 115 yards rushing today. West Virginia as a team, 290 on the ground. PAT is good.
It's been McCoy, it's been Howard, now it's Crawford's time. Big block up the middle. It's going to be hard to catch the junior, making those cuts and bouncing it in for
the Kansas Hoops team. Of course, also coming up Tuesday is Election Day, as well as the next reveal for the College Football Playoff Top 25 rankings presented by Capital One. So when the votes come in, Reese and the guys will break them down from top to bottom. Look at the beautiful bunting right there on our spectacular promo for you. Tuesday night at 7 Eastern on ESPN. Who will be in the top four? Will Alabama survive tonight? Scoreless at the half against LSU. Clemson won big today. Michigan won big today. Texas A&M lost. The door is open for somebody to move up on Tuesday night. And while we were away, an ejected player, Daniel Wise for Kansas.
Yeah, Beth, and I didn't see what happened, but I talked to the heads linesman. He said that Daniel Wise actually slugged Orlowski in the stomach after the extra point there, and that's what caused the disqualification.
So Wise ejected. And that was him running off to the locker room.
Coach Beatty talked about he's the emotional, energetic leader. Again, now not having him on the field doing something silly like that, it's going to cost you. He was waving to the crowd, Beth, on the way out, but I'm sure Coach Beatty's going to have something for him on the way in.
Yeah. Keon Kinner, the offset back. They scored, he did, on a 2-yard touchdown run off a turnover the last time they had it. Cozart hammered on the release, incomplete on the throw. Sean Walters was the guy that got in on the quarterback. And is there a flag now down on that hit?
Ineligible player downfield. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
DeAndre Banks, the right tackle.
And that play obviously took a lot of time with that play action. It was a strong sell to the left, and you're right, Cozart, along with that happening, takes a huge shot by number 27, Sean Walters, the inside linebacker, now getting some reps. You'll see some players obviously funnel in this game for West Virginia.
Correction, that penalty is declined. Second down and 10.
West Virginia wants a penalty, 2nd and 10 from the 25. Give this to Kinner again. They've gotten a yard. Adam Schuler, the freshman from Longwood, Florida, one of the first guys there, and it's 3rd down.
And you see the defense. Defensive end shifted out a little bit, and then all of a sudden, all the gaps are covered when the 3 linebackers hit it through. And I'll tell you, it's tough to find room to run if you're this Kansas team right now. And 3rd and long, just tough to pass.
Anthony, down here on the field, it looks like West Virginia is playing with 12 guys. I'm serious. Every single part of the field is covered.
Here they come, bringing everybody at Cozart, and he fires it down the middle of the field to Barbell. And a big gainer for Kansas into West Virginia territory.
You know, when they bring a full-out blitz and they brought 7 players, you've got to be a quarterback that can decipher that and get the ball out of your hands. And that's the high-risk, high-reward that you get, which Cozart hasn't been able to do throughout this game. Nice pickup, nice throw. A big play now for this Kansas team.
Their longest of the night, 43 yards. Kinner for a couple.
Kinner's done a nice job, Beth, in this 3rd quarter. Offensive line creating some holes. They don't need to be big. He's only 5'9", 190 pounds, but he's a player that can get in and out, get up the field, and you're starting to see, he looks like he's kind of getting stronger in this game, but again, they're going to have to speed this process up, try to continue scoring points.
12 carries, 53 yards. Was their leading rusher a year ago, doing the same this year. The intended receiver was Steven Sims. And here comes another 3rd and manageable.
Quick slants. Saw getting down the field. Some of these receivers, again, they're not giving the quarterback a lot of time. Number 95, Christian Brown, the defensive end, was unblocked there because of that read option fake, but he was in the face of the quarterback, making it difficult for him to throw the pass.
Trips to the left. Just a 3-man rush this time. 4th down.
And again, they were showing blitz on that, and they drop back. So when they bring 7 a couple plays before, then all of a sudden when they look like they're going to bring 6, Beth, they come back and they have, you know, 8 players in coverage. So there's so many looks you have to find, and instead of going for it here, and they might have to call a timeout with this lineman running in late, not being prepared for the situation. They're going to go for a field goal.
It'll be Matthew Wyman, a 44-yard attempt. And they muff the snap. Mishandled by Cole Moose. And West Virginia will take it.
Get a late player running on the field. Everybody's waiting. Now your flow's off. And that's slightly snapped to the outside shoulder. But to me, that's a ball you catch. You do that 50, 100 times a week. And Beatty he's not going to be happy. You know, he's an intense coach. He demands these guys to be ready to go. And he's not happy about the lineman that wasn't out and ready and set for that field goal formation.
That was Larry Hughes, the guy that was trying to run on. So West Virginia will take over on downs here, 1st and 10. Howard. And the catch is made by Dakeil Shorts. 1st down Mountaineers. To the studio, and Chris Cotter.
Okay, Beth, Anthony, scary moment in Columbus. Tommy Armstrong Jr. is going to take off running here for Nebraska after he picks up the 1st down. Clean hit, but he lands awkwardly on his head. We'll get another angle at this. As Armstrong lay motionless on the sideline, you'll see he lands on the right side of his head. He would be taken off on a stretcher, moving his extremities. You see the thumbs up there, taken to a local hospital. It's still 24-3 Buckeyes over on ABC.
And that's scary, Beth.
Well, Tommy Armstrong and Nebraska had gotten off to such a terrific start. He's moved into the top spot all time for them. Passing yards, touchdown passes, completions. That big game tonight at the Shoe. A loss of 9 on that last play for West Virginia. 2nd and 19. Down the middle it goes. Karan White, ball popped out at the tail end of the play. White was able to pull it back in.
It looks like he has control of it. Again, they get some pressure. Skylar Howard does a nice job of just keeping his eyes down the field, and then the open seam they get the ball in again. Definitely comes out, Beth, before he goes down. But he's able to jump back on it and rip it away from the defensive back. Very fortunate on this play here. Right there. Number 18, Feaster, pokes it out. It looked like Karan White got it back. So again, it definitely is a fumble. Watch 18 does a nice job poking it out. Bam, right there. Goes down to the ground. To me, it looks like
he's got possession over Keith Loneker. Loneker is able to get his arm on it, but
he's lucky there. Feaster doing a nice job too after pulling him away from that ball, squeezing his arm so he can't extend his arms. Kansas they're just a half a click quicker. Watch when he pokes it out and holds his arms together as he's tackling. He can't extend and reach, just gets that left hand in there. And it looks like, he's got control of it underneath that pile. Loneker just doesn't look like he got that hand around him in time, in my opinion, to say he had the control.
Ruling was West Virginia football. Let's see if it'll stay that way.
After further review, the ruling on the field stands. Third down.
And it will stay with West Virginia. It's going to be a 3rd and 2.
The way they've been running the ball today, the way this offensive line has been blocking and creating holes. They're spreading it out here. The last time they ran this formation, Beth, they led with the fullback right up the middle with the quarterback running. See if they do it again here.
They'll throw it, and they'll get it. Karan White, first down.
Well, when you sell the run in that set, you know what you do? You throw a pass. But, that has to do with Skylar Howard's accuracy, pinpoint. He puts that ball just on the outside of his shoulder because that linebacker was screaming out into the zone. Good ball placement by Skylar Howard.
9 yards on that strike. Howard looking to throw again. Buying some time. Pointing downfield, looking to the end zone, and he's got a man. Touchdown, Shelton Gibson. 32-yard strike.
Shelton Gibson for the West Virginia touchdown.
Shelton Gibson comes from nowhere's land to catch this ball. He's lined up all the way to the right of the screen. He's really out of the picture, and he's continuing to run down the field, across the field. Skylar just comes back. He's got plenty of time to find Gibson. Look at him. He's wide open. It's a long haul for number 10. Ogletree, the cornerback, to go all the way across the field, and because of the time he has, Skylar Howard's able to hook up.
Howard's 3rd touchdown pass of the night. 2 of them to Shelton Gibson. And a 45-7 lead.
Well, I'll tell you, Skylar Howard's having a day today. He's running it, he's passing it, he's pointing to his family in the 3rd row, Beth. It's been a fun day for this young QB.
Mountaineers been busy tonight, and he may not be done yet. 45-7. West Virginia now with the lead over Kansas. Skylar Howard with a big night. He's been celebrating a lot with his 5 touchdowns that he's been responsible for, but let's flash back to the days of Tony Beck. Touchdown, Tony.
I was wondering why nobody was answering me on what was next. I like it. Get fired up.
What's with the little ball flick, by the way, there, post-catch? Rocky, you got some word on that?
Hey, Anthony, is this how you did it? Did I get enough wrist flip on that thing you did down there? Was that good enough?
Rocky, I'll tell you.
You need a little more.
When you hit the end zone.
More English, huh?
When you hit the end zone as much as I do.
There it is. Very well played.
You get that flip down.
Well played. I liked how you did it. Yeah, I got to give our producer Ben some credit.
I was practically yelling. So where are we going here? Coming out of this break, no response. And I appreciate the love, guys. I tell you, everybody today, this whole last couple of days has been awesome about me coming back to school, doing some personal things. We got to go to the roast, and And you guys have been flashing some old black and white pictures of me catching the ball, running and stuff. It's been a fun experience, and it's good to come back and call a game at Mountaineer Field.
Anthony, I'm still trying to get over the fact the first thing your ex-coach mentioned, it wasn't your touchdowns, wasn't your blocking, it was how good looking you are. I still have not recovered from that, by the way.
Now, Rocky, that's a given, okay? we can throw up some more photos there. We'll actually show them.
I'm sure we will. Don't worry.
Hold that commentator.
Our producer, Ben Hall, is all over it, I'm sure.
Rocky's got a face for radio for sure right there.
Oh, wow. Oh, my God.
Hey, I love you, my man. You are, I'll tell you, who can have that kind of banter and still be friends after the game?
That's right.
More on that in a moment, but first it's Chris Cotter.
3 over on ABC. Back to you, Beth.
Thank you very much, Chris Cotter. So, according to Don Nealon, Anthony not only passes the eye test, but statistically awfully good as well. In his 40 games at West Virginia, 11 touchdowns. And a new quarterback coming on for Kansas. It's Carter Stanley, the freshman from Vero Beach, Florida. He's played in 5 games so far this year.
They're just trying to get something different, Beth. You know, they've been kind of going through multiple quarterbacks. Cozart started the season. Number 13, Ryan Willis came in. He couldn't get the ball from the other team. He threw a lot of interceptions in against Baylor and two games back-to-back against TCU. Now Carter Stanley gets his chance. You know, opportunities are great. We all have gotten our opportunity as college players. This young man's getting a chance now.
Martin with the cutback. So let's revisit the form. The celebration, the flip form. Boyman today, Becht from yesteryear.
Mine had a little...
Look at the follow-through on that.
Had a little push on mine.
Yeah, Anthony, you definitely had the extra follow-through. Even I couldn't mimic how well you followed through on that thing.
Mine was a little gronkish.
I see my sister follow through like that when she was young playing basketball.
Mine had a little pop to it, like 4 or 5 yards out. Yours just kind of fell. I don't know. You do risk. I know you're in the weight room a lot. You got to get those forearms a little stronger.
I was just copying your style, man.
Oh, why'd you have to go over your little sister who plays basketball? Now you're stepping into my territory.
You know,
don't make me come down there.
There's some similarities.
Who else can we throw jabs at, Beth? Who else is
Beth, you're next, Beth.
Actually, you're next, Rocky. Congratulations on Redhead Appreciation Day as we celebrate that nationwide.
Got a commercial.
Well, this is going to be Carter Stanley's first opportunity in 3rd down against a potential blitz. Got 6 guys right now at the line of scrimmage. He's going to have to decipher this information. Coach Beatty's going to help him out here and talk it over after seeing all that blue at the line of scrimmage.
First charge of the half.
3:25 to go in the 3rd. And a big day for West Virginia. And the Mountaineers are going to get to 7-1 if this stands. And stay right in the thick of the chase for a Big 12 championship. Got some big games coming up. What's been your favorite moment of the weekend back here on campus? This is the first time you've actually called a game here, right?
First time here, yeah. I had the Liberty Bowl 2 years ago, Texas A&M, West Virginia. I mean, listen, so many of my former teammates were at the Don Nealon roast last night. I was one of those 10 speakers that got to go up there and kind of break the ice and have some fun laughs with some of my former teammates. 500 people were at that event, Beth, and he's meant so much to this state. He's meant so much to this school. That's been the glaring moment for me. You know, the fact that I was able to get this game randomly and it all timed up has been fun. And, you know, it's really something special. And we had a great open today. We were able to walk around with the Mountaineer. We were just reminiscing there, you know. He wasn't a Mountaineer when I was here, but I was just telling him, you know, that's what we used to practice our ball flips, you know, being the Mountaineer back in the day. I wish I got a chance to shoot that rifle, though. I'll tell you, he was kind of handsy with that thing. He didn't want to let anybody touch it. It's kind of his personal property, but...
and Anthony, let me tell you, you want no part of that rifle. Their first West Virginia score, that thing went off about 3 feet from me, and my heart skipped a beat. That thing is loud.
We got a flag here on 3rd down. And will this keep the drive alive for Kansas?
Plus I'm a city kid, Beth. I don't know anything about rifles and hunting and things of that nature.
Defense, number 8. Ball will be placed at the spot of the foul.
It will be pass interference. Who wins this matchup? We've got Anthony from West Virginia. We've got Rocky from Notre Dame. The live mascots, the Mountaineer and the Leprechaun.
Well, yeah, I'm glad Rocky was able to dress up for us yesterday and give us that look of that other male animated.
Anthony, let me tell you, your Mountaineers may be able to get us on the football field, but our mascot will take your mascot any day. Right?
Hey, we have a gun. We have the rifle.
We got magic. Come on. We got magic and gold.
Get this back on track. Intended for Sims, 2nd and 10. Having a photo op. Troy, he was great with us yesterday and a fan favorite today.
He's a great tour guide. They were all over campus.
Anthony, he told me here down on the sideline he has some of those leather chaps in your size he's going to give you after the game.
I could use those. When I was running up from the field to back to the elevator today.
Stanley nice to drop it off for Martin, and look at him go down the sideline. Touchdown, Kansas. Carter Stanley keeping the play alive. And then Martin doing the legwork, 45 yards for the score.
That's a really nice play. Something they've done differently. He just jumps outside, and West Virginia just forgets about him. And you see some speed out of number 24, Martin. That's impressive. There's some things you can build off with these players, but right here, Stanley does a nice job selling it to the right. Gets his whole body, and he just flips it outside. And 24 can get down that sidelines with some quickness. It's a nice play for Kansas.
Wyman's extra point is good. And the 4th rushing touchdown of the season for Taylor Martin. 3:02 to go in the 3rd. So let's revisit the college football playoff and your picks. This is after Texas A&M lost today.
Yeah, listen, I'm big on Washington. The 1-2, I think, for me and Rocky. Well, I don't know if they're correctly in the same, but these are the teams that I think are there. Ohio State, to me, jumps up because Texas A&M loses. But Michigan, Washington, Alabama, and Clemson right now are clearly the best 4 teams, no matter how you want to shape it out.
Yeah, and Anthony, our picks are very similar, but I'll go back to what I said earlier. To me, Clemson is number 1 over Alabama, and I weigh strength of schedule and how you've played and who you've played more than quote-unquote eye test. Clemson, they've won at Auburn. Auburn's won 6 straight. They beat Louisville. They beat Florida State at their place. I just think it's more signature wins than just eye test.
Well, Clemson's definitely been in some defining moment games as far as coming back and winning at the end. But, to me, Alabama, you can't overlook or oversee, Beth, what they've done to the competition. Today, finally, it looks like LSU is bringing some fight to them. And if they can win today, that'll definitely juice up that strength of schedule that Rocky's talking about.
Flag on the return. Well, how about a tale of the tape for the 2 teams that played in the championship a year ago? Will they both get back there? Clemson with the better percentage to win out. Alabama still has Auburn on the schedule and then the SEC championship game.
And that 41% tells me that their remaining competition are very good. So, again, Clemson really has divvied out the strength of their schedule already.
Face mask.
Don't believe they have a ranked team left. Even if they get to the championship game, it would possibly be Virginia Tech.
Guys, remember, it was what the committee looked at, why they originally had A&M over Washington. They said A&M's schedule was better versus, the eye test and how Washington had played. They actually judged that loss to Alabama is better than a Washington win. So that's what I go back to. I think if you go too much on eye test, then the games and who you're playing doesn't matter. It doesn't incentivize you to schedule and beat good teams.
But Rocky, how can you gauge strength of schedule? We're only really a little bit over halfway through the season, and to really kind of say, okay, this team is much better than another, I see a lot more parity, if anything, throughout the country.
Kennedy McCoy, another nice run. He goes over 100 yards, so a pair of rushers over 100 yards, 18 on that game. Well, it's going to come back, a holding penalty.
And Anthony, just going back to our argument, for me, Alabama, I mean, up to this point, what's their best win? USC?
Texas A&M.
Texas, okay, maybe Texas A&M. They lost today, so I just think who they've beaten, you compare who they've beaten, who they've played, to me, Clemson on top. Look, I mean, we're splitting hairs here, of course. I think Alabama would beat Clemson head-to-head right now. But right now, I think you have to consider the schedule and who teams have played versus, what do they look like out there on the field.
It could be very interesting because similarly, if Florida State loses today, Clemson may lose that as a good win. And it might come down to who beats Auburn better. Clemson has the win over Auburn. Alabama will play them in the Iron Bowl.
And how good's Auburn? I mean, they struggled today versus Vanderbilt. I mean, listen, like I said, I just think on any given day, you can be beat in college football. It's been shown week to week. And to me, that just furthers every team that you play. And I think just because you've smoked a team or beat them by a big score doesn't mean that team is not good. I think Washington is just as good a team as anybody else in the country. They play good offense. They play good defense. This will be settled at some point, but it is great conversation, Bill.
Well, and Anthony, you mentioned Washington. I think that win they had last week over Utah in their place, a very tough environment, where they won 31-24. I don't think that was weighted quite enough. That was a big-time win, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think you're right. I mean, Washington is tough. Utah is tough, especially at home. I mean, going there and playing that team on the road definitely counts in my book as a big win.
Yeah, that's a tough place.
Howard slings it downfield to Shorts, and a first down.
The middle of the field today, honestly, and as I'm watching this game, Shorts-Howard combination today has been remarkable. These guys are on the same page, and I'll tell you, that is a tough throw over the middle for Skylar Howard. Remember, he's only 6 foot tall. That's what it says on my card. He's probably just under 6 foot. But the ability to just see those windows, give credit to the offensive line. It obviously starts in the middle, 2 guards, Orlowski, the center. These guys are getting it done today, running, pressing the defensive line, and protecting for the quarterback to hit those zones.
251 yards passing for Howard. The run is to McCoy, and now that will put him over 100 yards rushing to join Justin Crawford. Gibson already has over 100 receiving. Shorts is close to that.
And when you have a combination of running the ball, when you have a combination of passing the ball, it goes to the big uglies up front. I mean, that's what it is. Those guys aren't going to make the statistics, but guys like McCoy, who'll go for 105 yards, and Howard, who passed for the big numbers. And what's our total in rushing so far? I mean, it's
294.
I mean, that's a ton. That's not a normal Dana Holgorsen offense. The tremendous balance and really go with what's hot. It's made them one of the better teams in the country.
They had a pair of 100-yard rushers most recently last November against Texas. They had 3 100-yard rushers last year in the win against Kansas.
And you know, we talked earlier about recruiting, and the one thing I kind of questioned the last couple of years was who are the guys they're bringing in, especially at the quarterback situation. Skylar obviously stepped up. They got Will Greer in the back, that he was a transfer. But some of these young players, the running back, McCoy, number 4, these guys are young football players that are going to get a lot of time. They're going to get some players back in this field, so it looks like they're set up to be, make themselves get a good run.
Final seconds will tick off the clock here to end the third quarter. And a big night for West Virginia, 45-14 with 15 minutes still to play. They've been back here at West Virginia. The Mountaineers leading Kansas 45-14 as we start the fourth quarter. The first week of the college football playoff rankings, already some upheaval. Week 2's release will be Tuesday night on ESPN. And the run up the middle for Kennedy McCoy. He and Justin Crawford are both over 100 yards rushing. McCoy with 122, Crawford with 115.
They really like him. I was talking to the running backs coach, Juwan Sider, who was one of my former quarterbacks when I was here in West Virginia. He said, man, I'll tell you, this kid can run the ball. He's got length. He's got them long strides, and when he hits that hole, man, he is flowing. Today's having a fantastic game, and look at those numbers, Beth. 311 to 95 on the ground.
How about the running back depth without Russell Shell sitting tonight with an ankle injury? Incomplete in the end zone. Both Crawford and McCoy go for career highs, and Trevon Wesco, the tight end, had a shot.
Now, I think Dana Holgerson was trying to prove a point here to me, saying that they could potentially get a football to the tight end. Now, last week against Oklahoma State, they ran the same play. Wesco gets a chance again. It goes right through his hands, off his shoulder pads, and I know he's sick to himself right there. But he wasn't able to squeeze on. The ball's a little thrown a little low, but man, he's just missed an opportunity. He knows his chances aren't many, and my records are safe, obviously, in this offense with the tight ends. But Wesco got a chance there to maybe make some hay.
And then on top of that, even if he had hauled it in, it wouldn't have counted because there was a penalty on West Virginia that cost him yards. Howard will keep. We'll run it back inside the 15. Yeah, I don't know if a tight end's going to get to 83 catches, Anthony, which is where you ended up. And now some frustration. Courtney Arnick chatting up Howard.
Get to 83 career catches. That would just
yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm safe here.
Got a ways to go.
Won a game. It's going to be. You're going to have to play college football for 75 years to. Right here, a little extra finish there by Kansas, and listen, he's not going to take it, and there's the tight end there stepping in, making sure everything's okay.
Is it time to take Skyler out for the night here with the big lead? They'll run with Kennedy McCoy, Isaac Davis with the tackle.
You make a good point, a good argument. 13 minutes left. This game is in hand. Chugging off as a backup. You have William Crest. It'd be nice to get, these guys maybe in some situations where they, get a chance to play.
And right now, West Virginia's got to be careful, not get baited into a stupid penalty right now. Obviously, Kansas is very frustrated, and if they take that frustration out on West Virginia, they retaliate. It could make a real nice night for them bad.
Out of the gun on 3rd and 6. Incomplete. Tried to get White. Cutting underneath.
Yeah, that was the same play they scored on before, but they threw it to the corner route to Shorts. There they try to hit the slant to White. So obviously Shorts, number 6, is a guy that they're trying to use as bait on that play, Beth, and get some of that defense to run with them.
They'll try the field goal here with Mike Malini. He was good from 35 yards out back in the first quarter. This one a 27-yard attempt. And he missed it, pushed it right. Score remains the same. Selection committee vote in next Tuesday night. Week 2 of the college football playoff ranking reveal. Going to toss it to Sims, who will throw it downfield to Michael Zuniga on the catch.
Yeah, trick play here. Number 19, the cornerback battle for West Virginia, gets sucked in heavily here. It's a throwback, accurate throw there, and this is a nice ball by Sims. And get to the fullback. Zuniga's done a nice job today under the radar as a fullback and making a big play when his number's called.
40 yards on that pass play. They'll go back to Sims. How about an update on Bama LSU?
4th and goal for Alabama, and Nick Saban decides to go for it here, and Jalen Hurts gets stopped in the backfield. So points are tough to come by in this game. Still scoreless. 6.5 to go in the 3rd quarter.
Slugfest down in Death Valley, and not a lot happening on the scoreboard. Alabama, of course, number 1. LSU trying to continue its success under Ed Orgeron, the interim head coach who took over for Les Miles.
Some explosive plays here for Kansas, Beth, in this second half, obviously with the trick play. And finally in space, you get the receiver to make a big play. Gonzalez making a tackler miss.
Connor Stanley thrown to the end zone. Sims hauls it down. Touchdown, Jayhawks. Carter Stanley has come on and done well at quarterback. 11 yards on the score. They beat Elijah Battle.
Great location on that throw. Again, it's tough for a quarterback to come off the sidelines and be ready to go. Gets that ball out of his hands. Even better catch by Sims. Remember, folks, he's only 5'10", 175 pounds. Taking that ball, snatching it out of the air.
Carter Stanley with the 11-yard touchdown pass to Steven Sims.
Getting up high, might be short, but he's got a vertical. Snatching it away from the defender. Getting himself a touchdown.
.570 yards of total offense for West Virginia. A big night for Skylar Howard, responsible for 5 touchdowns and a 45-21 lead. Kansas has been better here in the second half. This is Shelton Gibson from inside the 5. Gibson finds a lane, stays on his feet across midfield, and steps out of bounds. What you got for us, Chris Cotter? Well, Chris, here West Virginia with the lead and still with their starting quarterback, Skylar Howard, in the ball game. 11:36 to go. They've got it after the 51-yard return, a good one from Shelton Gibson. Howard has run for a couple, 22 yards and 33 yards. He's thrown for 3 more, 7, 19, and 32-yard touchdown strikes. Big night on the ground, 319 yards rushing, and Howard has 64 of those.
Yeah, he's done it with his legs. He's done it with his arm. He's shown accuracy and some more consistency. Dana Holgerson talking about that. Even though he's been about 12 points higher from last year, 50% passer now up to 65. He's showing now drive to drive, series to series. He's shown connections with his receivers on point and been accurate throughout this day.
He's gotten some help from McCoy and Crawford, who have both run for over 100. The pass to Shorts. Well, tonight, after a full day of college football, don't miss Sports Center at night with Connors and Bucci. They'll have all the highlights for you from around college football at Sports Center at night tonight after Washington and Cal over on ESPN. With that catch, by the way, Shorts joins Gibson. So you've got 2 receivers now with over 100 yards. 2 rushers with over 100 yards.
And Shorts is the inside receiver. Durant, who we haven't seen number 5 too much of, he's an inside receiver. And of course, the playmakers on the outside, Beth. White and Gibson, they have a plethora of weapons, and right now, Justin Crawford is banged up.
Well, you've already got your starter, Russell Shell, out tonight with an ankle injury, and now Crawford, who wasn't 100% for a couple of games due to an ankle injury, he is down on a career-high night for him. We will take a quick timeout and be right back. Now back here in Morgantown, Justin Crawford over to the sideline. He took his helmet off and put it on the back of the bench. Got hurt on that last play. Hard to determine if he's out due to the injury or if they just decided to be safe and shut him down for the night. Kennedy McCoy is now in at tailback. Remember, not just getting through the 4th quarter, but your next 2 games incomplete in the end zone, broken up by Ogletree. Your next 2 games are at Texas and then home to Oklahoma.
Looked like a pretty nice ball there.
Yes, it did.
By Skylar Howard. Again, this play's been synonymous, and you've seen a lot of these corners reaching, and just kind of gets his hand in there, and Gibson not able to bring both hands together and hits him off the shoulder pad. So this play finishing by Ogletree.
3rd and 3. Howard on the run. Throws that one out of bounds, and it's 4th down.
Quarterback was out of the pocket. Ball reached the line of game. There is no foul for intentional grounding.
Here's a look at what's coming up for West Virginia. Texas and Oklahoma, 50-50 propositions there. They'll be favored at Iowa State and favored again at home against Baylor.
You don't want to overlook Texas because you're going there and you see that winning probability is pretty low. That's going to be a key game. You can always, it's always hard for teams. You look forward sometimes and you forget about what's in front of you. And Texas is going to be the most important team coming up.
They did win at Texas a few years ago, and they beat the Longhorns last year. This 39-yard field goal attempt is good from Mike Molina, so he's 2 for 3 tonight. Under 10 to go here in the fourth, and West Virginia way up. Browning is a guy that has been fantastic.
Yeah, I can't get enough tape of him, to be honest with you. I've seen all his games. I think from a public's eye standpoint, it's worth staying and watching that game because he, to me, is the best pocket passer in the country, in my eyes.
Let's check in with Chris Cotter.
All right, I want to update you on what's happening with Wyoming. That game's coming up next here on ESPN2, and it's underway right now. And Tanner Gentry already with the touchdown for the Cowboys. So it's 6-0 extra point pending first quarter.
Craig Bowles Cowboys coming off that big upset over Boise State. They're in first place right now in that Mountain West Conference Mountain Division. But all eyes late night likely to be on Washington. We'll see if they can stay undefeated. They are number 5 in the rankings. Will they move up to number 4 with the Texas A&M loss today?
The thing about Browning too, Anthony, he's not afraid to throw that ball downfield. So many times in college football, it's a lot of horizontal, short passes kind of stuff. He'll throw that ball downfield, and when he does, he's accurate. That's what sticks out to me.
There was a big collision on that last play. Justin Arndt, the linebacker for West Virginia, and Michael Zuniga, the fullback for Kansas.
These guys have been colliding all day. Of course, that little slide pass to the outside. Not sure where Arndt got hurt there. It didn't look like those two engaged with too much contact because Douglas, number 13, kind of made the stop, but both of these guys are banged up.
They are getting some attention from the athletic trainers. Let's take a moment again and visit with Chris Cotter in the studio. Chris?
In West Virginia, we'll move that game over to ESPN2, Beth.
All right, Chris, 9:36 still to go here in the fourth. West Virginia up on Kansas, 48-21. Keon Kinner will run for the first down yardage.
You know, it's interesting, Beth. You know, the second half has been a little better for Kansas. You know, Stanley's come into the football game and really shown me something. I think this coaching staff has taken some notes on what he's done. You know, they have Iowa State next week at home. Might be a good chance and opportunity to kind of shake this lineup up and give him the start. Again, it's always proving something when you have a team with a lot of new young players. You're recruiting different guys. Everybody's getting your chances. How can you catch the coach's eye? And I think Coach Beatty might be seeing some things on the field today that he likes. I definitely have. He's been impressive. 6 for 7 for 94 yards and 2 touchdowns.
And oh, by the way, Iowa State is the last Big 12 win for Kansas back in 2014. If this score holds, they would have lost 18 straight in the league, dating back to that win over the Cyclones. We'll remind you about Monday Night Football. It will be the Seahawks hosting the Bills. Monday night at 8:15 Eastern on ESPN. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown served up by Applebee's at 6 o'clock.
You know, and Coach Beatty, Beth, he's in a process now where he's trying to build this team. You know, he's recruiting. A lot of his coaches are from Texas. He's got a coach that coached high school ball from New Orleans. So they're definitely trying to attract a lot of those players, Beth, to come up to Kansas and say, listen, you can start and play early. And that's definitely something that's attractive for a lot of young high school kids that want to play.
I tell you, the most impressive thing about Carter Stanley is, look, he's the third-string quarterback, which means he's not getting many, if any, reps at all during practice. So his reps are mental reps. Shows me a young kid, redshirt freshman, with his head in the game.
That's a 32-yard pass play that's going to hold up here. Pass interference called on Maurice Fleming. So Sims is having himself a decent night. He's 8 catches, 122 yards.
You know what I like about Sims? He tracks the ball well. You know, he sees the ball. He's got to adjust his body, whether it's up above. He uses his hands close to his body. And Stanley has some nice pocket presence as a quarterback, just kind of throwing it, not really worrying about what's around him on defense.
Well, he's got a couple of touchdown passes, one of them to that guy, Taylor Martin, a 45-yard catch and run.
Stanley, you know, he's talking about all these Texas kids and New Orleans kids. He's actually from Florida, Beth, Vero Beach. So, you know, again, just trying to bring some of those athletes, bring some of those different players up here and try to really get some quality players on the football field to compete with some of these high-paced offenses they see across the league and some of these defenses, in particular West Virginia.
He's looking for another touchdown throw, and instead it's going to be intercepted. Rasul Douglas with his second pick of the night.
Well, coaching staffs told me that Rasul Douglas has an extremely high IQ for the game. He understands route concepts, and this is really perfect position. He looked like, honestly, Beth, he was running the route against Gonzalez there, number 1. He read it, and that shows me he understands concepts for sure. And again, that's Stanley's first big mistake, but you know what? I can't fault him. Taking some chances, being aggressive, things are going to happen. I mean, they've all had their share of interceptions this year, but again, young man's done some good things, but great position in playing by Rasul Douglas.
And we're going to have a quarterback change here for West Virginia as well. Chris Chuganoff, the redshirt freshman out of Skillman, New Jersey, in for the second time. He'll replace Skylar Howard. He's got Kennedy McCoy in at tailback, and Michael Ferns now in at fullback. McCoy, a career high night for him rushing, up to 126 yards now for Skylar Howard. 260 passing, 64 yards rushing, and 5 touchdowns.
Well, you know, he's a competitor. You know, he got a scholarship in 2014. He's got a chip on his shoulder every time he goes out there, Beth. Nobody was giving him any offers, any love. He wanted to play in the Big 12. Came from Texas and couldn't get anybody's attention. And West Virginia saw him, and they said, listen, we're going to give you a shot at some point. You got to take advantage of it. And he's a young man that's obviously studied, been in the weight room, got himself stronger, studied the game film. Had an up-and-down season last year, to be quite honest with you. His consistency and his accuracy was down, and this year he's made some tremendous strides.
Oh, boy, and now they've got to be really careful with their running back depth. That's Kennedy McCoy up gingerly.
Well, you know, Beth, they got a bunch of backup linemen in also in the game, so, you know, when you don't have guys coming off the bench that have hit many players, sometimes you take shots, but it's really been by committee today, and include Howard into that running situation with McCoy, Crawford running the football.
Roman in at running back. Chuganoff's throw intended for Jennings, and they'll rule it a completion. Out across the 25-yard line. It'll be fourth down. Dana's still coaching him up. Throw it.
Yeah, you know, the guy's got passion. You know, he loves scoring. He told us, man, he's, you know, I didn't really care about tempo or defenses, our defense. I just want to score as many points as possible. And, you know, now he's kind of backed it down a bit. But when those opportunities are there, he wants to hit them because, you know, he draws them up and he's done a great job.
47 yards on that punt. Well, as we bring our Saturday night to a conclusion here, we will remind you that we've got the NFL coming your way at 10 o'clock Eastern with the NFL Insiders Sunday edition, and then at 11 a.m. Sunday, NFL Countdown presented by Snickers. with Nix, Berman, and Dilfer, and Woodson, and Hasselbeck, and Randy Moss. This is what West Virginia had to try and replace this year. Joseph Worley, Kwiatkowski, and Dillon all taken within the first 5 rounds.
And there was more players that didn't get drafted that they lost because of graduation. So a phenomenal job by Tony Gibson, #1 recruiting, bringing some players in that can play now. It shows me that they have tremendous teachers on the defensive staff to teach these kids, get them up to speed. And I think that's something that's important. You know, Tony brought in some new coaches. Blue Adams is a cornerback coach. He's got to get in the system. He's just done some good things and got everybody up to speed quickly.
And I'll ask you, and perhaps start with Rocky, what can Gibson draw up to try and slow down Deontay Foreman next week at Texas? Foreman went for over 300 yards rushing today.
Well, the one thing, Beth, we saw, and we got a lot of room here for Stanley running. One of the things we saw when we called the Texas-Kansas State game is you got to be a good tackler team. And this defense, Rocky, in my opinion, are very good tacklers in space. They're aggressive, and that's going to be huge when you're going against a big back like Foreman.
Yeah, the key, the one player to look for is Kaiser White. We've talked about him all night, the spur linebacker. He's going to be that extra guy in the box, but also the ability to cover and all those wide receivers they got out there as well for Texas. So Kaiser White's going to have a big game for him next week, stopping Deontay Foreman.
You know, Gibson came in with this 3-3-5, and you know, you see his career here. I mean, Glenville State, which is just south of here, with Rich Rodriguez. He actually went with him to Michigan, and when he went to Arizona, they were trying to figure out how can they get this defense back to where it was when Rich was here, and they said, well, you know what, let's try to bring them back and take over the defense. And now the 3-3-5 has come back, and I'm telling you, it's unique. It's something you don't see in college football, but I'll tell you, it's perfect for the Big 12.
Let's get an update. I think Chris Cotter's got news for us on Tommy Armstrong.
Yeah, Beth, Tommy Armstrong, as you saw earlier, had to leave the game on a stretcher in an ambulance early in the first half. He's back now in Columbus, got checked out at a local hospital, being greeted by his teammates as he makes his way back to the sideline. So great news for Tommy Armstrong Jr. as you see him here in this game. Still all Ohio State, though, in the shoe.
Well, that's certainly encouraging for the Huskers and for Armstrong. Stanley's going to get caught here on 3rd down and 7.
Carter Stanley on the keeper.
And it will bring up 4th down.
Adam Schuler stop for the Mountaineers. 4th down.
You know, Beth, not only did I have football memories here, I've had a lot of personal memories at this field, too. I actually proposed to my wife, Deanne, who's from West Virginia, Clarksburg, West Virginia, right on this field. Funny story was, the game was Saturday. We had the family in Sunday. And I kept nagging her until we had to come to the field because we had a little clinic to work, and she was yelling at me because I had the family and I had to go do this. Luckily, she came with me, because if she didn't, the surprise obviously would have been spoiled.
On 4th down, a 4th down stop for the Mountaineers. More of This Is Your Life with Anthony Becht. That was good for all parties involved, and a late touchdown for Alabama. Finally, somebody getting on the board. Our All-State College Football Playoff ranking, so they are leading at LSU. The big news today, of course, A&M losing, so there's an open spot there amongst the top 4. Michigan and Clemson both rolled. Ohio State and Louisville are on their way to massive wins today.
And I think there's a trickle effect with A&M losing Auburn in a close game against Vandy. How good is Auburn? So it all kind of comes in week to week with the the committee, the college football committee, when they rank these teams week in and week out.
More on Alabama. Here's Chris.
Yeah, Beth, you guys just showed on that graphic. Bama took the lead. Let me show you how they did it. Jalen Hurts, who has 2 turnovers in this game already, finally gets loose here. Early 4th quarter, takes it himself. So it's 7-0 Bama in this one, guys.
2nd and 9, ball to 40.
It's a battle right there.
Yeah.
I gotta think offense and defensive linemen are just completely punching for punch, blow for blow in that football game, and see what happens.
Big win here for the West Virginia football team. big game tomorrow for the West Virginia women's soccer team. Winners of 11 in a row, the last 10 by shutout. For Nikki Izzo Brown's team, they are the #1 team in the country. They'll be playing TCU tomorrow in the Big 12 championship game, led by Ashley Lawrence and Kadisha Buchanan. And thanks so much to the West Virginia Rifle team and Coach Tom Hammond, winners of 18 national championships. We had an absolute ball with he and his student athletes yesterday.
He is the Nick Saban of the rifle world. I mean, this guy's got trophies everywhere, and we got to meet the gold medal winning rifle winner,
yeah, Jenny
Thrasher. I'll tell you, I got a picture with her. I was impressed. She's only a sophomore here, but she is money with those rifles. A lot of rifles going around. You got the Mountaineer, you got the rifle team. A lot of good things going on. It's good to come back, Beth. I'm glad I got to show you guys around and see some of the cool stuff we got going on here at West Virginia.
We've enjoyed it very much, Anthony. And the West Virginia Mountaineers will improve to 7-1 and head to Austin to face Texas next weekend. Kansas will fall to 1-8. Coming up next, it's Wyoming and Utah State. Our final score here in Morgantown. West Virginia 48, Kansas 21. And a win at home for the Mountaineers in their first night game of the year. Now let's get you out west to Laramie, Utah State and Wyoming.